Alright, apologies for that. I think we are getting going now. It's going to be like a drag in Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. 90% with Froob. Take it away.
Yep, hello, I'm Froob. I'm neither pirate nor Yakuza, or am I in Hawaii, but that's what we're going to be showcasing to you today. With me, I have a wonderful swashbuckling companion, if you'd like to introduce yourself. Yep. We do need some expert opinion on this couch, and Big Nono is the expert opinion on this game. Before we get going, I believe we had an audio language bid war. Do we have the results of that? I believe we did anyway. I thought we agreed to that. Might be wrong. I want to make sure we do things correctly.
If there isn't a bid war, first chatter who says which language they want wins.
Let me get that real quick here. I believe we had Japanese was in the lead before, so... yeah, it's Japanese.
Japanese, cool. All right, we'll go with Japanese. That is thankfully already selected. All three dub languages are actually really good in this game. Much per the usual Yakuza Like a Dragon runs, we do the run on beginner, but trust me, this is going to be pretty tough. So when you are ready to go, start timer in 3, 2, 1, go. So much like most Like a Dragon runs, we're going to get right into the thick of things with a tutorial against our favorite character in this video game, Keith. And I'm going to have to concentrate on this fight real quick. So, if you want to go wild.
Yeah, the boss so nice they made him 6 times. Keith is a weirdly recurrent character in this game. You fight him more than you fight Kuze in Yakuza 0, so surely he's at least that good of a character. But yeah, luckily for us, tutorials in this game are skippable. You just need to mash left D-pad, which Froob does while already priming his first combo. This is actually going really well. But yeah, the idea here is enemies, as you will see throughout a lot of Chapter 1 and a big chunk of Chapter 2, have a block that we have a very hard time dealing with. We will have better tools for dealing with it later on. Keith specifically can just hold up his sword and block you for however long he wants. However, that was good luck and very good execution. That was a really good first tutorial. Second tutorial is pretty much the same idea. Enemies here have a bit more HP and are a bit more aggressive, so you need to vary up your strats a bit. But as you can see, our combos make pretty short work of them. Something to notice here. Oof. Yeah, you got the 1 HP.
I got the block dodge, the block guard even. Yeah.
But yeah, what is really interesting about Mad Dog, which is the fighting style we're using right now, is it kind of magnetizes you to enemies, and by initiating combo, it can close the distance really quick. So it's useful for that. And that Froob actually uses this a lot more than I do in my runs. It's actually something I need to take note of. But yeah, it is very useful.
Yep. This looks a bit weird, us getting into this fight. We'll be doing this at certain points because being in a fight and being in Mad Dog, your movement is actually a little bit faster as long as you don't jump at the stairs like I did. But yeah, like some bits we like to call area triggers, so when we walk into them it triggers like a cutscene or stuff like that. That one's a guaranteed bit. I've got to go a little bit slower at skipping the dialogue here because the game can actually soft lock, especially on this guy. So I'm just making sure that we don't have that happen. Only with these dialogues, it's really weird.
Oh, by the way, you can get out of that soft lock. If you save and load, it resets the interaction. Yep. Yeah. But yeah, it is very annoying when that happens, especially early in the run.
Yep. Hey, I missed this guy. I'm glad he's back.
We just, it's been so long since the last Keith fight.
2 minutes. I sure do hope that after this fight we fight him one more time in this chapter. That'd be great. Oh, you butt.
Honestly,
and then
Dragon.
We're good. We're good. I fixed it. I'm stuck on the guy on the floor, which ain't great, but this'll do. Thank you for not guarding, Keith.
viewers will listen to us complain a lot about something called the Dragon Engine, which is the engine all Yakuza games have been using since Kiwami 2, so almost a decade now. A lot of good things about this engine. For example, you can skip a lot of cutscenes and stuff like that that you wouldn't have been able to skip in earlier Yakuza games, which makes a lot of the runs much faster and much more fluid. But it also has some really, really annoying physics hijinks, I would call them. Some of which you're probably going to see in the next fight.
Yep. So we do complain a lot, especially about some of the more recent RGG Chapter 1s for getting through them. This bit in particular is a giant reset point. That's going to be a save load, because as you can see on the minimap, that's a really nasty fight spawn that is in the way. I don't think I can... That's the one that you can't get by, isn't it?
That's like the worst one. That's the one where you don't even have a prayer, because if you try to run off to one of the sides, they will intercept you.
Yep. Thankfully, as you can see, we do have access to save loading, which does allow us to be able to basically get rid of them. And then we have a mini-game, for a feature in this game that we won't be touching ever again after this.
Yeah, it's, casually, this is pretty cool. Also, what you saw there is Froob got a good on one of those hits, and what that does is it's actually slightly faster to get a good than a great, and you can, like, it doesn't lose you time. If you only get one good, it's faster. Here, most of these QTE sequences are set except the last one. The last one you always have to pause and see what you're going to get for.
We got the quick one. It's a shame I actually cut my finger at one point there. Oh well. Bit of a rough, choppy, stir-fried veggie bent over, slight bit of finger in it.
Protein.
Exactly, that's what makes it 2-star. Basically, depending on the quality of the cooking that you do, you get basically like a better heal or something like that, depending on like what the item properties give. You can make alcohol later on that gives you more madness gauge back, etc. But again, that's not something that we go down in the run because we use our upgrade points on other stuff.
Yeah, there was some thought of routing the Goro beer into the run somehow. Sadly, did not pan out.
Yeah. Pretty decent start.
Ooh, that is a nice fight, yeah.
Yeah, I usually do two quick attacks at the start there because these guys, much like Keith did, they can interrupt you and make you drop the barrel, which is unfortunate. You can normally drop down to the right here as well, where those two are standing, but unfortunately they have a physical hitbox in this bit, so we do have to go around. Speaking of going around, we go slightly left here to avoid that fight spawn, and then right to avoid the fight spawn on the left. Probably talk about the basic plot of the game as well, by the way. We're not a pirate or a Yakuza at the minute. We're amnesiac, Majima Goro. He's lost his memory. He's wound up here on Rich Island, where he's met this kid called Noah Rich, and now we have a tiger called Goro. And we're going to feed him. That's the plot.
Pretty much. It's one of my favorite things about this game is in the intro cutscene, he says something like, "Now I know I speak Japanese and these guys all speak English. Don't worry about how we resolve this. Just go with it."
Yep. Just a video game, having fun.
Yeah.
None of those cutscenes are skippable, which is why we text mash through that. Pretty much Dragon Engine games, like 95% of the cutscenes are skippable. There's like a small 1 or 2 that aren't. Now, I'm missing a certain someone. Big No, do you know who I'm missing right now?
Is it Keith?
Oh, it would be Kerry is!
Well, lucky for you.
So, nice and easy, Keith. Now, Keith with a mace actually does a lot of damage. This is a tutorial that is very similar to Lost Judgment systems, where we need to do basically the deadly attack counter to be able to hit him and finish this fight off. It's why we do the heat action beforehand to get him to 1 HP, so that this finishes him off. Easy peasy. It's the same mechanics as Lost Judgment, where the enemy will be invulnerable when they're doing that, but if we interrupt them with a heat action, then they will become vulnerable. So we will be using that for a lot of the bosses in the game. He also knows I just split into 3, don't worry about it. Majima has magic powers.
This is something that they just decided to make Majima magic in Yakuza 5, and suddenly he got the ability to create shadow clones.
That are better than me, as you can see. I love that game as well when I'm not playing Tsukumino.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of items on the deck. Some money, dollary-do. healing item, and then I'm going to get an attack boost. Let me get this guy. Oh boy. I'm going to concentrate for this fight for a second.
Yeah, Masaru is kind of the king of hyper armor in this game. Well, that's not true. There's going to be... The true king is after him, but that was actually really good.
Yeah, I'm surprised that he got staggered for the entirety of my first combo there, actually.
Yeah, that was some good RNG. Masaru can just ignore your jacks, and he can stagger you down. We are going to get some stagger insurance later on in the run, but for now, anytime we get knocked down, it's a huge time loss.
In this game, we respect EXs because if you get knocked down by those, especially when we don't have knockdown evasion, we lose a lot of time. That's a good Masaru. Pretty happy with that.
Yeah, that was good. By the way, you may have noticed the QTE there. QTEs in this game typically don't do damage, but they do give you heat. And in that particular case, it's also faster. Later on, when we don't need the heat, we will fail some QTEs just because the animation is much quicker.
Okay, bud. I'm not sure how that hit me, but okay, bud.
Yeah, the hitboxes and Jack's attacks are amazing. So, if you played Gaiden, you know gun enemies are a pain. The thing is, in Gaiden, at least they are very weak. Like you can generally take them out in 1 or 2 hits. But they've decided to make some bosses kind of guys in this game, and it is not fun. It is not a good time. Jack is a major run killer, and I would say like probably the worst part of chapter 1 is speedrunning.
I'd agree. Yeah.
I mean, luckily though, we never fight this guy again because I mean, RGG would never recycle a boss, so at least we got that out of the way. For the
It's not like we've seen Keith like 3 times yet.
yeah, of course. That different guy.
Yeah. Alright, so we are now officially the pirate part of Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. You can see we got the coat and everything, so that makes it official. The way that we did this is by beating Masaru and Jack in combat, the ship's ours now. Also, Masaru is going to join up with us for reasons. Jack did not appreciate him cooking him bats, so it's fine. We're going to be going to the shop now, where we were earlier, but now we have actual money to spend in the shop, so we're going to go and do that. So we're going to get the most important purchase of any pirate life, 10 beer.
Gets money, immediately buys as much beer as possible. He's just like me. For real.
We will be drinking a lot of alcohol in this run. Now, I do have a complaint about this game in that there is no rum, which for a game about pirates, that's a... not happy about that. Not even any restaurants have any rum. Very upset about that.
When you mentioned that, it was one of those realization moments to me where I was like, yeah, it does... That is so messed up. How do you get that wrong?
Yep.
RGG, please patch your game. Add some rum.
Yep. Change one of the beer cans, just rum can. Okay, but yeah. In the fight, I chugged 2 beers. We're going to be drinking beer for several reasons. One of them is to get better heat generation back, and we also get a little tiny attack buff when we are drunk. Just a tiny one. And I mean tiny. It's like what is it, like 7% or something like that?
It's something ridiculous like that. It's one of those things where you question why they even bothered. You just, like, sometimes if you forget to drink beer, you just notice that you're doing slightly less damage, like a pixel less.
Jason, thank you.
That is,
Behave. So, this is Jason Rich, this is Noah's dad. Good, he rolled the right way, that's nice. If he rolled backwards, I would have had to done another jump strong, but because he rolled to the right, I was able to get that. XQT, just like the other QTs in this chapter, and then because we have the beer on, the QT will get us half our heat back as per normal, and then we'll be able to build our heat back up with 2 more strong attacks, and then take care of Jason. Bowser back, which is nice, and it'll be just enough time before he uses his main attack. Cool. That fight should usually go the same way every single time, but it all depends on what Jason does in the first half.
yeah, if he blocks a lot and you use up your barrel, it's a problem. It's also... This fight and many other fights in this game are very weird in that the environmental weapons will sometimes respawn after a QT, but sometimes not. So
Yes.
if you had to use a second barrel and you don't get barrels again after the QT, then it is a big problem.
Yep. Alright, so we have our pirate ship tutorial, so very, very basic. We can't skip these, unfortunately, like the rest. Change our view, we can accelerate, drive towards this dummy pirate ship, which is Jack's, would you believe? Use our machine guns, hold fire for a few seconds. We're lining up on the side so that we can hit them with the cannons. Spin
that's
around.
actually smart. I've never done that where you like go right up against
too
them.
early. And then just finish them off. You can also ram. Ramming also does a surprisingly good amount of damage to most pirate ships in this game. So this Jack fight is a bit frustrating. Yeah, it's Jack again. There he is. With the rule of him being invulnerable in the second phase, we're going to focus him down to get to phase 2 immediately with doppelgangers, and then we're going to focus on some of the ads while he's going into his second phase. And he obviously ran away at first, because of course he would. He's Jack.
But yeah,
So he's halfway now.
So now that he's at his HP gauge, by the way, HP gauge is a very important mechanic in this game from a speedrun perspective. We're going to have to pay attention to them very often. And yeah, once you get him to his HP gauge, you just wait out the transformation, and then you can start attacking him again. Now, I know what you're thinking. It's been a while since we fought Jack, so...
Oh, I'd love to do it again. But they don't know. Why is this Jack fight special?
Oh, good question. So this Jack fight is special because we've mentioned that the fighting style we were using earlier is called Mad Dog. You know, Majima is the Mad Dog of Shimano. That's his long time nickname series. And they did something very cheeky with this game where they called his second fighting style this more, I guess, pirate-themed Sea Dog. It's cute. It's, I see what you're doing. But yes, at this point, we're doing pretty much the same thing, getting Jack to his HP gauge, waiting for a transformation, and going in again. The big difference you might have noticed is Froob used the heat move at the start of that fight to do some damage to Keith and take out a few of his goons. That is also going to be important for our madness gauge. We've not mentioned this yet, but other than your heat gauge that you use for heat moves, you have your madness gauge that we use for Majima's shadow clones, and later for something else that we'll talk about when it becomes relevant. But to increase your madness gauge, you need to attack enemies, and what really charges up your madness gauge is using heat moves. So in some cases, we use heat moves even though they're not necessarily the most optimal choice, just because of the madness gauge. And that was one of those cases.
Yep. Not getting the same look out earlier. We're paying attention to the drops that we get, these components, during this bit, because there's a certain amount that we would like by the time we hit the main line of Hawaii. Spoilers, Hawaii's in this game. Wouldn't have guessed.
Next, you're going to tell me there's Yakuza in this game, too.
That would be a big spoiler. Okay, there's my first superb at the very least. Got a good couple of quality. 2 superb. Okay, not too bad at the very least. So we want 5 by the time we hit Hawaii, which we've got a good couple of like sailing parts to be able to do before then. But we also want a good couple of normal components and quality. Normally the normal components will never be a problem. It's just the quality and especially the superb. So
yeah,
more tutorials. Yeah, go on.
Sorry. Yeah, I was just gonna say it's actually better that you're lower on the higher quality ones, because those you can turn 3 of a lower quality component into a higher one. You can't do the opposite.
Do we have a quick moment here just to read off a quick donation while we're doing some boat fighting?
Yeah, go for it.
Awesome. So we have met our goal for hard mode for Star of Providence because we got a $100 donation from Flickyburb saying, "Thank you so much for a great opportunity to run for a wonderful cause. Yarr." Thank you so much, Flicky. And we do have a new goal that's been opened up. We have a $300 target for Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon, a Little Z mirror match, and that's coming up next. So after this run, after Froob finishes off Like the Dragon here, we will be jumping into that. So start getting those donations in for that one.
Hi! Losing my marbles, I just see Masaru do something.
Happens sometimes, not very often. But yeah, you'll see as we go on, we get more and more AI partners, and some of them are very useful. Like Jason will often help out. Masaru kind of likes to just stand around and swing his sword around, glowing red. I don't know what that's about. Sometimes there are sightings of Masaru doing things. It's very disturbing when it happens because it means the game is cooking up something, some way of messing up.
Like a bear.
Like a bear.
Nah, this is like a dragon, actually, but we're going to grab a barrel and just go to town, hopefully on the bear. If you get extremely lucky like I did earlier, you can actually accidentally push the bear out of existence. Now, Masaru was sick that... I needed that, bud. Bud. Appreciate you.
I've never seen that. Okay.
You know, I don't think I have either. That's one for the tracker.
It's one thing for Masaru not to be useful, but to actually actively sabotage you. That's amazing.
We love him here. No, we don't.
See, Froob had a run where it was very... earlier he did a practice run where it was very obvious he was hacking. And now he's doing this to like, take us up the trail to make it seem like he's not that lucky.
Oh, that is unbelievable. I genuinely never seen that happen. Quick level up. One of those things probably doesn't need any explanation. Increase max health. You might be surprised that increases my max health. And knockdown evasion basically means that we can get up off the floor a little bit quicker. It's another reason why we have to be very careful with the Jack fight and the Masaru fight earlier, is that we don't have that at that point. Another superb, so only after 2 more. These lighthouses act as our kind of safe areas. They refill our boosts, which is really nice. And we're going to get another small little tutorial when we get here. So, speak to good old Noah. I give Masaru some roses, even though he doesn't deserve it. And then we go back.
Not after that.
His morale is a bit low, you see. It's fine. Mine's not lower after that. So, these bits are actually kind of nice. Like, we're not going to do much apart from getting the materials during these bits. There are fight spawns, but the nice thing is we actually know when to save load the game to get rid of these fight spawns. All of these fight spawns are thankfully fixed fight spawns that can be deloaded by doing the save load trick that we did earlier on the normal fight spawn when we were on Rich Island. As you can see, they're gone now. That should be the last super component I need. If I'm not, it's just one more. In the top left, the 1 out of 2 is how many boosts we have. These golden boxes refill those boosts. So even though we don't have the opportunity to use the boost between these boost rings, there will be bits later on where we will have to use the boosts, and this just ensures that we will always have boosts. There is a speedometer on the bottom right that's kind of just a bit... Not sure why that's there. It's like, we don't really go that fast. And as soon as the other enemies spawn in, that's the load point for this one. I might have done that a bit late. The idea that we're trying to do here with the save loads is be in the ring so that we get that boost as we load back in, so that we don't lose any kind of speed or momentum. Which, thankfully, I was just on the edge of that. I was very close to not having that happen. But yeah, I guess we've got a nice long sailing segment here, so if you've got any messages, again, now would be a fantastic time.
Well, we don't have any messages, but we do have a little bit of a heads up that we still have that bid war coming up for Resident Evil 2, deciding between Leon and Claire which game mode are we going to do. Get those donations in as soon as possible, because that is coming up after Armored Core this afternoon. So we have a bit of time for that, but we don't have a whole lot of time for that.
But it's very interesting how the boat fights work in this, because there's a mechanic that we take advantage of in a lot of newer Yakuza games, where if you load in, you can't have random fights in a certain radius around you. And if we get close enough to these fights, then that works the same way, it just despawns them. Which is very weird. You'd think they wouldn't, like, the game wouldn't treat them the same way, but it just works. So...
yeah, I'm not sure who found out about that, but I'm very glad they did. It's a bit of a shame. I do like the ship combat in this. Like, it does get a bit of the same thing over and over. We do actually have some longer... categories. the wonderful all sub-stories, abbreviated to ASS, as per usual. And then the wonderfully named, which is what Big Nona wanted to call all sub-stories in this game, this one. We have Booty Percent, which if Big Nona you'd like to explain, Booty Percent.
Yes, so Booty Percent is simply getting all the treasures, and we're going to engage with this mechanic a bit later on, but basically you can find treasures, they give you a bunch of money and points for upgrades, and also a nice JPEG of the treasure. And yeah, getting all of them is Booty Percent. Brother Tojimaru, actually routed and ran both all sub-stories and Booty Percent for this game. Did amazing work. I still have not watched the Booty Percent run. I need to get around to it, but the all sub-stories route.
It's actually got a pretty good route. Like, I'm actually surprised. Like, it's got a very, very good route. Because for those who don't know, normally when we do all sub-story runs for Yakuza Like a Dragon games, it usually ends with Amon, because Amon is usually a sub-story. In this game, Amon is not a sub-story. So the all treasures kind of land. Actually, is he? I can't remember. I may have just said something incorrect.
No,
I
you're
think
right.
he's a sub-story.
He's not a sub-story.
Yeah. Alright, more beer.
There's actually, in a lot of Yakuza games, the Amon fight actually kind of caps off your all sub-stories run. But in games where that's not the case, sometimes we will have a separate Amon percent. For example, our good friend Garlic Dread, one of the best usernames on Twitch, is going to be running Amon percent for really, really longathon soon. Please watch that. Garlic is an amazing runner. She's done incredible work with Dead Souls. And yeah, it's going to be a really good time.
Garlic is going to be suffering because Subterranea is necessary, and that is about 2.5 hours of a random dungeon that is painful in that video game, and you already realize you're playing Yakuza Dead Souls, so it's already slightly painful. Even though I do love that game a lot. Wrong combo. One thing that should be said as well about using like our doppelgangers. When we use our doppelgangers, we can't change our fighting style. So we are locked into Mad Dog whilst our doppelgangers are out. It'll be the same when we get the Madness Gauge equivalency for Sea Dog later on in the run as well. But for that fight, the Palikana guys are actually quite fun to fight, because the only time you've ever fought them before was Infinite Wealth in turn-based, and it's fun to fight them in real time, but for these two fights, they love to run away. Later on, thankfully, they don't, but for these two fights, they do. It's quite interesting, because in a lot of Yakuza games where there's like multiple different enemy types, they all act like slightly differently. In Yakuza 6, for example, you have the Silent Triad, and they actually dodge more than the actual normal Yakuza enemies guard. It's very, very small, minute things that like just keep them different. It's kind of cool.
So right here you can really see the strength of combos in Sea-Dog. You just have this really, really wide arc on your attacks. So you just take out so many enemies at once. This would take so much longer to do than Mad Dog. I would say overall, probably in terms of just raw DPS, Sea-Dog absolutely edges out Mad Dog. But Mad Dog has some unique tools and special moves, and also is the only style where you can use environmental weapons. And it's really nice because there's a lot of Yakuza games, for example, Yakuza Kiwami, Yakuza 0, you never use Rush in your runs, and increasingly in 0 you don't use Brawler either. And in general, a lot of the Yakuza games that have multiple styles, you only use 1 or 2 of them. You almost never use all of them. This is the first, I think the first Yakuza run where you actually use both fighting styles, which is really, really nice.
Yeah, outside of like the Gaiden with the
Gaiden
fake usage of both.
Oh,
So-
you mean for, yeah.
Yeah. He's back. You want to be very careful with Keith. He actually does a lot of damage in this fight. Like, I need to be actually very, very careful. And also need to drink beer to get my heat back.
Yeah, when I started out routing this game, I really try to insist on not getting any health upgrades. The thing is, if you don't get health upgrades, you need to be very, very careful in this fight. And the strat where you're going to use here, it's a bit more dangerous, but it is... I mean, it's much more dangerous if you don't use healing, if you don't get healing upgrades or health upgrades.
Yeah, actually go over there. There's barrels over here. I'll do. Yeah, you want to buy a two-handed item. Ideally a table, but the table I like to use there got broken, unfortunately. Again, respect the X, and that should be the fight. Cool. Not the best Keith fight I've ever had, but it worked out. What I usually do in the middle of that fight, once we've done like the chair heat action to Keith, is I'll usually look around and see whether or not I've accidentally broken the table, and I noticed that I had there, so I was trying ideally to get to the other table that was at the top. But we were, in the air, we were moving a bit more towards the right, which was fine, because there were the two barrels there. It's as long as you can, like, basically figure out that you've used up the item that you need to use, and then supplement it with something that is, like, nearby. But it's always about trying to get through that mid-fight invulnerability phase that we can't do anything about.
I know what you meant.
Sorry. Yeah, go on.
I was just going to say, I know what you meant, but when you said not the best Keith fight, I thought this game legitimately has enough Keith fights that you could just make a tier list of them.
Yeah, it's alright to have one or two bad Keith fights, because there's another 4 of them that will turn up, and you can just do well in those ones. Okay, I don't think I've done... I wasn't paying attention again. I don't think I've done enough kills in Sea Dog Style. We have certain achievements on the completion list that basically let us get, like, extra points and stuff. With that, we will basically get extra points to use on level ups. One of those is for taking care of enough enemies in Sea Dog Style quite early on, which, again, I don't think I have. Actually, it looks like I have, so 40-50. For this guy, I'll be doing this, and then I will go and do, with that level up we got at some point earlier, attack boost.
This is also...
Was he actually trying to shoot me straight from close range there?
Yeah.
What?
Look, when all you have is a gun, everything... I forget the saying, but you know what I mean.
I can't complain about that, considering how many times we shoot people at close range in every Yakuza run, to be fair.
True.
Like we will be doing in this run as well.
Yeah, that one heat move in that fight is also it's in that case I actually think it would have been it is faster to use it, but you sometimes use a heat move in that fight even when you don't necessarily need to, again just for madness.
Yep. Speaking of keeping an eye on things, there are 2 paddles up against the house at the back that ideally we don't want to have broken. So I'm going to be keeping an eye as I'm dealing with these enemies. I'm hoping someone deals with the guy at the back, because that guy was quite far back.
Damn, okay.
Yep.
Go off, King.
Thank you, Masaru. Appreciate you. So ideally we can take care of these guys in as few hits as possible to try and keep as many, that was nice, as many of these paddle hits as possible. That leaves me with 3. Yeah, so 2 hits and then a heat will take out the main HP guy here. That's really nice.
It's very common to get a 3 hit, but 4 is really nice. And the good thing about that is by having 3 hits here, Froob can just do 2 heavy attacks on the main guy, then a heat move, and that is exactly enough to finish him.
Excuse me? Excuse me? Sir?
Oh yeah,
excuse
the
me?
ninja enemies. Love these guys.
There's one boss who will do that later on that Masaru was trying to help again, but he won't in this next fight, I bet. But yeah, there's one boss later on that loves to do that, which we'll talk about him later. This is Captain Beef. He's going to be my first mate. Get that off, and then Doppelganger, because this fight, we only have Masaru as backup, and yeah, we don't trust him. Even though he's been showing good signs, we do not trust him. But this is why you don't want to do the air combos, because now Beef's going to be on the floor for a while. Thank you, Doppelganger. I do need the help. And deal with Douglas. So yeah, this is your kind of introduction, this whole island, to, hey, you can get crew members, etc. This is Captain Beef. Yeah, that guy.
Looks like Beef is back on the menu.
Yeah. Someone had to say it. This game actually has some very good puns and jokes about beef every time he is involved. Like, literally every time he is involved.
Yeah, shout out to localization, Jason.
Yes. Alright, and we are going to now head to... Oh, no, the Hawaii part of the Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. It's kind of like Sonic 3 and Knuckles in that sense of... Why? There's me trying to teleport to Hawaii when I can't yet, trying to cheat again.
Forgot to open up cheat engine before the run.
Yep. If only this was New Game Plus, that would have been optimized, the optimal menuing. Actually, can you go straight to Hawaii in New Game Plus here or not? I don't know. You can't?
The New Game Plus in this game is so weird in that so many things don't carry over. The instruments don't carry over. The fast travel doesn't. It's very, very strange. It's pretty much just your money and unlocked abilities. Oh, and costumes. Yeah. Because we would have a lot of extra options in New Game Plus if everything carried over. Which, by the way, the New Game Plus category for this game, maybe we could talk about this because this is the 90% run. Just finish the game on the lowest difficulty. There are other categories as well. We've mentioned already all sub-stories and booty percent. Other than that, we also have New Game Plus, which is a much shorter category and very, very different. Like, got a very unique flavor to it. And on the other side of that, we also have the max difficulty category, which is professional. And I personally think all categories of this game have something going for them. This is one of those rare speed games where you can really enjoy and have a distinct kind of run with each of the categories.
Yeah, fully agreed. I should also mention in passing, whilst we're doing this, if my menuing for the save loads look a bit slower than it should do, that's because I am intentionally taking a second. For some reason with this game, if you save load too fast, the game can crash. It's only with this Dragon Engine game, all the rest are fine, but with this one in particular, if you save load too fast, the game just can close. So usually we're just going to be a little bit, especially in a marathon, a little bit chill with the save loads for getting past these enemies. Which, speaking of, this enemy set is actually a little bit closer than it might appear because the ring's like slightly sloping to the right here. So there is a specific one that I will be save loading in, and yeah, we just don't have enough boost to hit these boost rings, sadly.
This is one of those cases where, like, New Game Plus does have an advantage because you do get the extra boosts from that, so you can just boost all the way.
Yep. And you can see it in the distance. There is good old Hawaii. So, before we get into the very long and very detailed section of Hawaii that is actually quite complicated, if you've got any messages, now would be a perfect time.
Don't really have any messages. We do have that incentive for Resident Evil 2 coming up here. We do have Leon is now in the lead for the category with $10. And of course we have that Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon Little Z mirror match target that is open up here. That will be open through the end of the AC6 run. So you have some time to get to that, but do consider making a donation and putting it toward both of those if you are so inclined.
Yeah, thank you very much. And we are now in Hawaii. We literally just landed on the beach. So we're going to deal with, hopefully, these two. There's several different ways you can deal with these two. There's like a coconut on the palm tree that I've not done a good job of. I should have gone after Idris here. That's my own fault. But yeah, there's a coconut you can do on the palm tree. You can also juggle in this game, as you can see. Like, sometimes I'll juggle very rarely. This guy had a fair chunk of HP left, so the juggle, I think, was the right answer there. Or a jump strong probably was the better answer. But yeah, with that one, if you can get a good combo against them with Sea Dog, that will be the fastest way to deal with them. But I messed up with my first initial approach, so oops.
Yeah, unfortunately, it is sad because juggling is cool and like there's a very high skill ceiling to it. But for the most part, juggling in this game is slow. just because there's a very... As you juggle enemies, they take less and less damage, and the drop-off is very steep in this game. Unlike, correct me if I'm wrong, I think Lost Judgment does a lot of juggling, or is it
Yes.
Original Judgment?
Yeah, Lost Judgment.
Yeah.
So intentionally we're looking to the top right there for West Hula Avenue. In this bit we have to run over to Revolve Bar, but we want that taxi spot for the bit after this bit. We're also intentionally again running into fights as per earlier so that we have a little bit more movement speed. The weird movement I did at the start of this was to try and keep the enemies as locked onto me as possible so I could keep just running straight forward, which went okay. So I'll take that. But here is good old Revolve Bar, which if you played Infinite Wealth, you'll know all about Revolve Bar.
Yeah, I guess we're all waiting for Yakuza Kiwami 3 coming out February 11.
Yup.
To see how that gets worked in.
Yep. Okay, so with this bit, this is Camelot, the mascot of Camera Roadshow. Don't ask why he's here, he just is. This is one of those fights that just presented itself quite easily to us. There's a set of bikes behind these guys. Like, sometimes it is just as simple as hit them with a bike. Ideally focusing on trying to hit the both of them, but Bailey, if we have to hit one of them due to the fact that he has the EX and we can just get past it as long as we can take care of him. Now, this is the bit where I need to not get confused with Infinite Wealth, because in both Infinite Wealth and Pirate Yakuza, we're going to collect fortunes for Camelot. And it's a different route. And then I'm also going to need to concentrate on this. If you want to talk about the puzzle shogi tech that we got coming up here, because we are playing shogi, chat.
Yeah, we are going to play some puzzle shogi. And the way this works is, this is a trick actually discovered originally, I believe, for Yakuza 8 by TGP, the good professor, I believe.
Yep. Correct.
And yeah, so what you're going to see Froob do is he's going to solve the puzzle shogi map. And then, instead of hitting confirm to exit the game normally, he's going to wait for the score to start going up, and then hit start and quit that way. And what that does is the game already gives you the points, but the game does not consider you to have finished the puzzle. So you can just keep doing the same puzzle and get the max amount of points. Which means that in 4 very, very quick shogi maps, we get 3,000 points, which is exactly enough to get the treasure chest out of here, getting us a good amount of both money and points.
Yeah, we found it during Infinite Wealth, and we backdrafted it to Like a Dragon All sub-stories. I didn't need to quit there, but I'm just going to just in case. The nice thing is it works in every single Dragon Engine game. And yeah, with some of the other Dragon Engine games, we go further, because the further you go, the more points you get for, like, the last few rounds. But we don't need to in this one. We just really don't. Alright, don't mess me up, Clark.
I did look into the option of doing more shogi, but just there's nothing else in the store that's of any use to you, really, in this run. So, Clark here, this is actually kind of a wall. If you've played this game casually, this guy's a pretty difficult boss. So we need to really respect him, wait for his HP gate, then use that heat move, and right here you're going to see Froob use 3 Torners. You can sometimes skip him doing his ult, but usually it's better to just, usually he will do it, and then you just want to use a heat move to get rid of him as quickly as possible.
It's another one of those fights where if you get unlucky, your furniture can break as well. There's some backup stuff. There's a bike and a bench on the other side of the road, but they're quite far away. So ideally, we want to do everything on that side if possible.
That's also a fight that's very different in Professional, because on Beginner, you can use the same heat move and keep doing the same amount of damage. Even on Standard, I think, but definitely on Professional. If you use the same heat move more than once in the same fight, it does severely reduce damage, so you need to vary it up more.
Yeah, for some reason, the normal legend difficulties that we usually have been now called Professional. Yeah, 11, we're fine. 32, yeah, way more than fine. So, yeah, like, our legend stuff from previously is now just Professional. Which is weird, because again, in Infinite Wealth, it was also called Legend and not Professional, so who knows?
Yeah, it made sense for Gaiden. I'm not really sure why that's become a thing for the other games, but
This game is very Gaiden blueprinted. Like, the upgrade system that we have, which is money and pirate points, is very similar to Gaiden's in, obviously, as you know, money and agent points, etc., etc.
That's something else we could probably talk about is, well, maybe we should say it after this, because this introduces a very important part of the game, the Street Surfer.
Yep. So the Street Surfer has been in the series since Infinite Wealth. As you can see, it's a piece of equipment to use for basically getting around a bit faster than running. This is very good for this map. It's a sub-story in Infinite Wealth that is technically skippable, so there is every chance that you just don't pick it up in your playthrough, which that would be absolutely awful. Because, like, as much as I love this map, it is very large, and getting around Honolulu without the Street Surfer would be actually kind of painful.
Yeah, and in in 8, the game does force you to get it, right? Like, you can't...
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. That's right.
It's actually missable.
Yeah,
that's the wild thing.
Yeah. It's in... Yeah, because in that game, it's in sub-story, yeah.
Yeah. It's got a big hitbox, but the fact that you could, like, absolutely miss it is just wild. In this game, you can't, which is nice. I think that's a good decision. I don't know if they have, like, player data on, you know, X amount of people didn't get the Street Surfer or not, but I think it's a good decision they force people to get it.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, this part of the run is a lot of going around. Basically, our goal now is to get, I believe, $10,000 for Julie for repairing the ship, and also get 10 or 15 crewmates?
15 crewmates, I believe.
Yeah. So we're going around getting a bunch of them. Right here, we're actually getting possibly the most important, well, one of the 2 most important ones. Say hello to, well, it's going to take a moment. But yeah, your crewmates
like
are going to be a big
sucks.
part of your boat battles. And here's Chicken Man. Chicken Man is a man in chicken mask with a rocket launcher. Don't worry about it.
It's important. It's very important.
Chicken Man is very, very important.
Oh, sorry to interrupt. We should ask, what happened with the costume bid war? Because that's kind of now. We have a little bit of time if it's a certain costume, but we can start changing our costume as of right now. Ignore the bartender. Don't worry about him if you played Yakuza 3. Why would you say that, Kason? I was doing it. What?
Well, I do have some good news. We're going to be playing as Garomi here. Everybody wants to see Garomi because everybody loves Garomi. So.
Hey, Garomi's going to take us about 5 minutes to unlock, just to let you know, but as soon as we get Garomi, we will be switching immediately to Garomi. But these purple booths are your boutique. So, yeah. So you will give us... you will get Garomi. Give me 5 minutes, because it's actually on the route for the speedrun. So whenever we meet it as an incentive, we just grab it on the way. So, need to remember that on the way through. Oh, now comes the RNG friend bit, doesn't it? Yes. Yes. So, Chad, have you ever wondered how to make friends? Just do this. Go around and press square a bunch and wave at people. That's only the one. So, basically, there's a whole bunch of people on the side of the street. You'll see them with, like, empty, like, question mark, like, not question mark, facial faces like that. If we get close to them and do the shaka sign or the aloha, then we'll get them as friends. This is a surprisingly little amount. I'm a little concerned at the moment.
Yeah, this is,
it's 5.
This is not great.
Ooh. We do have some backups, which is nice. 6, 7. Thanks, Dave. I don't like that fight spawn, so I'm going to intentionally run into the sub-story to get rid of it.
You should have 1 or maybe 2 friends on the left here.
Yeah. So if you ever see anyone, like, against the window like this, they're, like, guaranteed... You respawned! Why would you respawn? Already friends with you.
That's a problem. If you go into that cutscene, that friend is often someone who's already a friend of yours. So, yeah.
Yep.
You've got the guy on the bench here, and failing that, there's also the coffee shop
person. Yeah. If you're wondering what happened, who that guy is, don't worry about it. Don't ask. Oops.
It's legitimately better not to know.
It's complicated. This is a surprising lack of anybody. Hello, Justin. I don't think that's 10. So, because of that, we just have to buy something from the coffee stand here. That was 10. Yep, so good.
Nice. Bit unfortunate, but I've seen this go way worse, to be honest.
Yeah,
Sometimes you do have to just run around looking for a 10th friend.
Yep. The reason why we're getting those friends was for that guy that we just spoke to, Hibiki, the 14th best host in Kamurocho here in Hawaii. They want you to basically make 10 friends, and then they'll be like, oh, you're really stylish, and then they ask you about his drip, which you could be quite nasty if you want to be, but we're not going to be.
No, we're nice. The Yakuza speedrun community, well known to be very nice people.
Yeah, if you're ever interested in running any of these games, they're all different. Every single run is very, very different, even if some share the same blueprints. Like, again, this is very, like, similar to Gaiden, but the actual stuff we do is a lot different. There's a bit more combat focus in this than there is in Gaiden. Gaiden has a little bit of an overpowered move that we like to use, but it's kind of the same as, like, you know, LAD and Infinite Wealth. Like, they're both turn-based, but they have very different strats, for example. If ever you'd been interested in, like, speedrunning a Yaks game or, like, a Dragon game, we've got so many resources for the games now, which is really nice. More than enough people are willing to help out as well.
Yeah, and it's gotten to a point where I feel pretty much all the runs are very fleshed out in their routes.
Yes. It's a lot easier to say the runs that we don't recommend than the ones we do. And it pains me to say it, but we don't recommend 5 because of the fact that it's just 6 hours long. I love the run itself when it lets you play it, but it's 6 hours long, so it's really hard to actually recommend. But something like this is great.
Yeah, I legitimately think this is a very good first run of a Yakuza game.
Yes. Yeah, I'd agree with that. So for Domingo here, we're going to pick up this stool, hit him with a heat action. That basically gives us access to this barrel back here. Jog to Lagos to get my heat back up. Hit him once here. Let's head run through this. Oh, that's unfortunate. Quickly just takes him out. Almost. There's the X, yep. So I was trying to avoid, but yeah, unfortunate. Him guarding against the barrel hit there meant I lost all my hits on it. I should have actually Tyranid and then used a heat action. That's what I should have done, because I couldn't generate my heat in time. But this introduces the bounty system. So some guys like Domingo, too, you'll see him again on a pirate ship later on. They give you money for beating them. We've had several reroutes when it comes to the bounty system. We still do some bounties in this run, which is really nice. But we used to have a completely different system in here. Now, you'll see me playing billiards. This is important for the run, I promise. It actually is.
This is never getting routed out for reasons that will become obvious a bit later. But yeah, most of the... Sorry, go ahead.
I think I was gonna say exactly what you were about to say.
Ooh,
okay.
Take that.
Meant that.
But yeah, so most of the courses are pretty easy. They have very consistent setups. There are a couple that are very, very scary.
Yep, we'll be getting to those at pretty much the end. We're doing this for the points because we want the rewards, and also we can get several crewmates thanks to that. That one's a bit tricky because if I put in a slight bit more power there, I would have hit the 8 balls. It should be pretty obvious from what we're doing. But you can only hit the red ball, or sometimes a special yellow ball. You are not allowed to hit any of the 8 balls. You're not allowed to pop the cue ball either. That's also very, very important. And you're also not allowed to yeet off the side of the pool table like you can do sometimes with this one.
Yeah, which is messed up.
I've done that way too many times.
This is kind of a... That last map is deceptively scary because 90% of the time... Ooh, okay. But yeah, 90% of the time it goes well, but there's like a magic pixel in the middle that doesn't work, and if you hit that, it's very frustrating. Ooh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, I thought that was going in as well. This is... My billiards are not on point right now. They kind of are.
I mean, this is no retries so far, so I mean...
I'm happy.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
okay.
Yeah. That was...
Slightly too low. Yeah. I hit it a bit too high.
That was commentator curse. I have to apologize for that.
Okay, now I'm going to concentrate on these ones, because these ones are the scary ones.
Yeah, so the legend courses, they require a level of precision that's much higher than any of the lower courses. So yeah, you base it's not quite pixel perfect, but it's something in that neighborhood.
Yep. All these layups that I am doing were actually found by Big Nono, which is nice. We do them slightly differently for this one, but the very essence of what we're doing here is exactly the same. In that we line up with the cues on the wall at the top right. More to the right, I think. Oh, definitely not. This is the one that scares me. I used to be very good at this one, but I've not been recently, which is upsetting. I'm going to read a line.
Yeah, this one's definitely weird. I've definitely lost runs to Legend 2 Pool.
Just a little off again. It's a bit too much, but we'll see. This is what I was worried about. A little bit more. Okay,
that
a little bit
was...
less. Really?
Yeah, this is what I mean when I say you can actually... You can get very close here and just...
There it is.
Oh, okay, excellent.
There it is. Yep.
And the thing is, if you line up all of Froob's attempts, if you look at exactly where the camera was aimed, there's a very small difference. But in Legend maps, it counts for a lot. You need to be very precise.
So, treasure at first, and then, as Big Nono was saying, the more important person here, Sheepman.
Sheepman, and this is not me trying to do a pun. Sheepman and Chickenman are the absolute goats of your crew. They're like, this is why I say this is never getting routed out, because no matter what, you are going to have to get these guys, because they just do incredible work.
Yeah, the damage they put out is absurd. Like, you will see. Like, you will genuinely see in this run. 5 toughness C's, max out our Taraners again, Tarana pluses, and Tarana plus pluses.
Thanks.
So we do have a bit of a tight money schedule still, so we don't want to go too much here, otherwise we'd probably get, like, some of the healing items for our heat. Most of the things we're getting are for heat generation. The toughness C's are for later on in the game, just in case. Because the end game of this run is very scary. You are... I shouldn't risk this. What I am doing. As long as I can get that, it's fine. Cool. And usually that fight spawn is a bit further along. When that one's a bit further along, you get in behind them and just grab that fortune. It's very important we grab that fortune. Any fight spawn you get into will be despawned on these stairs if it isn't already. Fight spawns do not like stairs. And right here we want this fortune. We go into the treasure select shop. When you get off the street surfer, you can't go into a shop on the street surfer. Matter is being considerate of others. We also want the treasure in here, but when we grab the treasure in here, it's going to boot us from this menu. So we are intentionally going to get the treasure last. A couple more things to grab whilst we're in here. We've got 1 fortune here. There we go. Oops, bounce off that. Downstairs. Sometimes if you have the wrong angle like me, you fall off the street surfer, unfortunately. You'll notice that I'm not going on the right-hand side here, because there is a fight spawn. No, I'm going to avoid that. We're going to go into the Boogie Woogie Steakhouse in a second, but first we're going to grab this fortune. And the half-empty drink, apparently. Cool. And we're just going to go and speak to Ranko at the back. Ranko here, she costs 2,000. She's not a high rank in terms of, like, she's a bronze rank crew member. Which is a little lower of a rank than most of our other crew members. But she is actually very good. She puts in a lot of work.
She punches way above her weight. I
Yes.
almost think it's a mistake they labeled her bronze because she's so good.
Yeah, she should be a silver. She acts like a silver, for sure. Okay, so we're going to grab... Now that we have the chain hook, we're going to grab this fortune. We're going to upgrade ability Sea Dog Charge and Shoot to level 2. Grab this treasure. Then we are going to get given the tutorial for the fights with the chain hook, which we're immediately not going to do until later. So we charge and shoot level 2. We can now charge our gun up by a couple of extra levels. Sometimes Kaminsky here can move away, which if he does, just shoot him. He doesn't have that much HP. But we charge and shoot level 2. You can charge it up. It adds a bit more of an AoE, which is really nice, and it adds a lot of damage. At this point, the game's like, hey, you need to basically, like, get your money that Big Nono said about earlier and your crewmates. So, even though we have it, we're about to go spend a boatload of this money. Grab that fortune as well. Gonna head over to the adult entertainment shop. I don't like this fight spawn. I might save load this one. Could be fine. Some more points, a little bit of money. Hold down. We're going to use the hook to be able to just stop our animation of falling over. We're going to buy 5 S-rings. Going to run outside. And then because of your generous donations, we're going to go get a special costume. That's a fight spawn in the way. Avoid it, hopefully. It turned around. Probably fine. In this corner. Yeah, go on.
No, go ahead. This takes precedence.
And then shrine. I forgot about the shrine.
Yeah, I just wanted to say about the fortunes. Big shout outs to the guys who made the interactive map for this game, because it was invaluable for routing fortunes and a lot of other things. It was a huge help.
Yes.
Always in Yakuza runs, we usually the biggest help is Sirik Z, who makes really, really good guides for all these games. In this specific case, he didn't map out the fortunes, but they did. So yeah, big ups on that.
Yeah, we've taken stuff from other like communities in the Yakuza community. A lot of the like newer strats that Ryu came up with, the Yakuza 5, for example, were from the no-hit community. Okay, so with that, now that we've got on all the story stuff, we've got $5,000 left. We've given over the 10,000 we needed to repair the ship. We're going to go back to Julie, and with all the components, we're going to make 2 weapons. It's 2 because 1 leads into the other. We go from laser to super laser. And we actually get something a little different in professional, don't we, Big Nono?
Yeah, in professional, you actually... So I was going to say there's different levels of safety for the components you can get depending on how new you are to the run. If you're a new runner, if you're interested in running this game and you're thinking, oh, there's component RNG, so I might not be able to finish runs early on, don't worry about it, because worst comes to worst, you can always go to the 4th shop in Honolulu that sells components and make up for the components you're missing there. It is a big time loss, but if you're early on, you know, it shouldn't matter too much. But as you go on, you know, that's the kind of thing you might not want to do to get PBs. But that shop is part of the route for the professional run, because in professional, on top of the laser and super laser, we also get the coconut cannon, which other than making a very lovely sound is also, sorry, not cannon, the coconut machine gun, I guess you call it, the turrets, which are very, very good and very important for some later boat fights. But in any percent, we don't need them because enemies are just not that tanky.
So, yeah, we're going to go with Goromi on both because folks did donate for Goromi, which is going to make it so I have to pay a bit more attention in fights to make sure I'm on the style that I want to be. But you'll also get to see Goromi as we walk around. The nice thing about the customization in this game is that you do get to see it as we are able to run around. In fact, the rings that we actually equipped as well, or not equipped, we will be equipping those, they also are visual and determined by which ring that you actually equip, which is really nice. Nice little attention to detail.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I gotta pay attention because now both styles being Goromi is gonna be interesting. As said earlier, we can now jump down here because there's no one blocking us off in the way. So we want to go back down towards where the shop is. We're not actually going to do the shop. There's one item that we want on Rich Island now that we've got the grappling hook. In most recent Yakuza action games, there's usually pieces of equipment that drop your defense and raise your attack. This is the only item like that in this game, the Ring of Gaia. But the Ring of Gaia is... Okay. The Ring of Gaia is a little scary because it has the added properties of a almost charismatic photo. Which, if no one knows what the charismatic photo is, it basically means enemies in a fight are going to be way more aggressive.
You might think this is the kind of thing that you wouldn't want to use on the professional run, and you would be wrong.
So, fast travel, we spin around, go back to the safe point, which is right behind us, and instead of obviously disembarking, we prepare to sail instead. We're going to do a little bit of a level up here. So I'll be Big No to describe what I am doing right now. Not you, that's later.
Yeah, so basically, because we got the Gaia ring in a treasure chest, we also got a bunch of money along with it. And this is the money we're going to use to get some upgrades for our ship. So for one, we're going to get the second boarding squad, which means we're going to be able to go into fights with 10 crewmates instead of 5. This is going to be very important later. For now, we are going to just have one squad. We're also adding one cannon on each side of the ship, so that increases our DPS significantly with the turrets. And last of all, we're getting a bunch of extra fuel tanks, because the first two upgrades are pretty cheap, and it's just enough to get us past through some of the longer sailing segments.
And this is why we delay the equipment menu, is these enemies right here.
This is kind of a recurring theme in a lot of Yakuza games, where if you need to do a menu, you generally wait to see if there's a fight spawn you need to get rid of, and then you can do your save and load as part of that menu, and you save the time of opening the menu twice. Just a bit of an optimization. Right here, you're also... We finally, with Natasha here, that we just picked up, we also got all of the crewmates we need. So we are going to put them into their slots. It's much more important which crewmates you use for your boarding squad, because those are the crewmates who will fight alongside you. Anyone else is going to be on the turrets, and while their stats kind of matter to how much damage you do, their impact is very, very limited, especially on any percent. On New Game Plus, it's a bit more important or noticeable. So yeah, you just put those crewmates that you really want fighting in your squad into those places, and the rest you just fill up with whoever. As you can imagine, Chicken Man and Sheep Man, both in the squad.
Yeah, as Big No was saying, like some of your crew members actually have like special stats to them. The reason why we have obviously our attacking guys being, in that specific squad is because at the minute we have a leader that ups their attack. Not that they need it, because they already do a lot as is, but yeah, no, it's something that is very, very important, as Big No was saying. So for these ship fights, we're going to be getting to a certain point, and then trying to deal with the main enemies in these ship bits, which are the guys with the red kind of little devilish like icon there, because that means that they won't use basically their big kind of ability. If you see the yellow bar that's raising for us at the minute, it's an ability bar where, depending on like obviously who you're going up against or who you have on your support crew, depends on obviously the effect that happens. For us, with Noah, we have HP regen. With Goro, we have an attack increase. We will be using that later on in the run, but just not yet. And ideally in any of these fights, we want to make sure that we don't hit them, or don't hit any of those for the enemy, because that would be pretty bad. I'm going to head to the cave, which is going to be our hideout for this place. Again, ideally we get into a fight, we'll change to Mad Dog, and then hopefully chain these guys into chasing us for a fair distance here, because then that way they got stuck. That way we can like get down these stairs a little bit quicker and easier, as you can see. And just then also keep any extra enemy fights from happening ahead of us. That was, yeah, probably a bit early, because there's that guy there. Hopefully that means there isn't anyone in the cave. When you go in the cave, the minimap gets a bit closer zoomed in, so it's harder to see if anyone's ahead. That's why I'm like panning the camera slightly left to see if there is anyone there, but because the one outside, I was pretty confident there wouldn't be one in here, but that doesn't mean anything when it comes to certain maps and their fight spawns like this place.
Yeah, you kind of... Even though the fight spawns are mostly random, you kind of develop a sense as you run these games more and more of how many fight spawns there should be and like roughly how spaced out they're going to be. It's not 100%, but it's pretty good. They're pretty good rules of thumb, I would say.
Yeah, it's an interesting one because we both run a lot of the older Yakuza games as well, and in those games, the fight spawns that actually occur in fixed locations. It's just random if they actually spawn in or not. So we're used to both systems,
Yes.
like obviously like newer games having like slightly more randomized fight spawns compared to the older games that have, you know, slightly less randomized fight spawns. I missed an attack up at some point.
No, you should be at Attack 5 now. That's fine. You get 6 and 7 after Wade. Well, before the set piece.
I thought I had a little bit extra money for some reason, but yeah, I guess I don't. He's gonna Diagro off me in a second, so I'm just gonna try and take the jumpy Diagro in midair. I was gonna try and jump down here.
That's the absolute worst when that happens, yeah.
So one thing we should also mention, you've probably seen that at the end of like that fight there, it put us back into Sea Dog style or Sea Goromi style. Essentially, what is going on is in certain places, oh, you're gonna be a pain, yeah, I'm just gonna do this. In certain places, there is kind of like a quotation marks fixed style you should be in. In Madlantis, it's Sea Dog. So if we end a fight in Mad Dog, for example, we lose a little bit of time to the animation swap of going back to the other style. So ideally in these fights, I will be trying to go back to the style that I need to be on before the actual fight ends. Some of them, we won't actually have the chance to do that. We won't have the time. Wade is another bounty hit. He's got a large amount of HP. We're going to just obviously do that and then do a heat action. Hopefully take care of the other two in the meantime as well. I always hit Circle 2 over here. Thank you, Neil. Again, ideally we really hit Wade here. And then, okay, I wanted the heat action, but okay, cool. I didn't even see him winding up for the EX there.
That was a very strange Wade fight.
Yeah. I'm not sure why it didn't give me the heat action. Did I not have heat? What I did, I must have done.
Did you forget to beer up? Maybe.
Yes. Yep, that'd be it.
That happens.
If ever low heat generation, you can pretty much assure that it is the old beer.
If your Yakuza runs aren't going well, chances are you're not drinking enough beer.
Yep. And the two attacks. Yeah. Okay, so big set piece time. Basically, Noah's been taken. We gotta get Noah back. What we're gonna do in like certain fights here is try and get in certain positions for the charge and shoot, and hopefully get like a majority of the enemy at that like first shot, so that we can obviously just go a bit quicker. But it all depends, especially like with some of these enemies, like how close they are, like which direction they move in, etc., etc. Some of these cutscenes are only skippable after a certain little bit. You'll see like a little like hitch in the cutscene. That's your kind of key trigger. Oh, just a bit early. There it is. And then some of them have just like a small bit of dialogue like that you can just like text skip through. Text skipping in the Dragon Engine is ridiculously fast. There's like almost no limit on it. But obviously if there's like multiple text boxes, it's a little easier just to start skip. So swashbuckling. There are swashbuckling sections. If we can do this correctly, then we should be able to hopefully have everything go the same way here. Oh, I missed. I have to be a bit careful with this guy. I'll just counter this guy. Still relatively fast. There's going to be certain swashbuckle parts later on. These don't actually turn up too much, which is nice. They don't overstay their welcome. But there's certain swashbuckle parts later on that we want to do in a specific order. And if we do them in a specific order, then it will always go the same way every single time, which is really nice.
Yeah,
So,
a bit of very welcome consistency.
Yes. Yeah, because those bits have the general potential to just be, like, quite evil, but thankfully aren't. I didn't hit the gun, that sucks. So, for all these Haku reinforcements, they will go into an EX mode, so we want to be just a little careful. Nice slide.
That worked very well, yeah.
I'm kind of surprised about that. Everyone gets together here. Where's these two are the ones I missed? I thought it'd be the ones on the left. How do you deal with this next room, Big No? Do you use the box or do you use the heat action?
I use the box. I think on Pro you use the heat action, but yeah, on 80% I use the box because it's just way, way faster. But it is unfortunate when you have to use 3 swings like that. Usually you get at least 2 of them to group up, but that was just unlucky.
Yep.
Wait, this is a really
big fight here.
No, I love the set pieces in this game. If you haven't checked out this game yet, I highly recommend it. I think this is like the best Yakuza game in a really, really long time. And I feel like it's kind of slept on. I think people don't, I don't know, maybe because it's a side game or something, but yeah, I really highly recommend it. Very, very fun casually.
Yeah, there's a weird little bit of like negativity surrounding this game. The nice thing is, you could start your Like a Dragon journey with this one if you wanted to. With Majima having amnesia, it kind of works. Here I'm going to be focusing on trying to take care of the guys with the machine guns, because they absolutely suck. I was like avoiding most of the Haku stuff. Where's the last guy? Ah, here. Hello. Okay, that should be all of the machine gun guys at the very least. The doppelgang's out. Remember, you cannot change styles, so we can't change to Sea Dog for any of this, so we're just going to take care of these guys. Hopefully you in the sky. That's good. Again, just respect any EXs that may or may not come out like this. I want to go to that end of the arena at the end, so I was keeping my camera pointed that way. With some runs in this series, it counted me as stopping. With some runs in this series, we do actually have certain camera shenanigans for some of them, just to keep like enemies from like despawning or keep them from making them spawn in a particular area. But sometimes you'll see me like pan my camera to a certain spot because I want to make sure that I actually have that I actually have knowledge of where I'm going. We need to fail this QTE. There are some QTEs in this game that are much, much quicker to fail. This is one of them. There is no QTE in this game that is circle. So if you need to fail a QTE, just mash circle. You can dodge that guy without getting the EX counter, which is a bit slower, but my timing was off there. It was too slow. But anyway. That is the set piece and what should be the end of the chapter, but unfortunately it's not. If there is one thing that RGG's last few action games have all had especially the guiding games, have had a little bit of a penchant to do, it's pad out chapter 2. And we're getting to the padded out chapter 2 part where we're going to get introduced to what is a big focal point of booty percent for all treasures, because there is a treasure literally locked at the end of what we're about to get introduced to.
Yeah, I know writers who use pacing and they're all cowards. This is when I played this game casually, I remember just repeatedly thinking, what's going on? Why are we still doing this? I do like this part of the run just because the fights coming up are good, but yeah, casually it was very confusing because RGG does like to, nudge you to do the side content. These games are not made for speedrunning or score attack stuff. They want you to relish all the different activities. I can't think of any other Yakuza game that forces you to do this much of the side content just to, get the ball rolling on it.
Yep. Thankfully, we don't even need, like, any of these components at this part. Like, we're all done with that. It is literally just sail to the next location, which, thankfully for these bits, the next location isn't too far away, it must be said. I think that might be a bit early on this despawn, I'm not sure. I always get confused with this one. Oh, excuse me.
My visual cue is always the blue chests. I always save and load them like the one before last before the fight. Except for like a couple of locations, but there you have other good visual cues.
Yep. There's always a whale in this bit that you get to see as well. So, for these bits we have the crew stuff, if you want to explain that real quick. I'm going to get rid of you.
Yeah, so this is another mechanic the game introduces at this point of the boarding party. So, when you go into the islands, which is a big side activity in this game, you can get up to 4 crewmates to follow you. And the game divides your crewmates into basically attack, defense, heal. Oh my god, that's not very good.
I didn't get the notification that I was getting shot there.
Yeah, that happens sometimes. Sometimes the game will, like, an enemy will target one of your crewmates, but the shots end up hitting you because you're on the trajectory, so it doesn't give you the alert in that case. It's very messed up.
I'm just gonna hit this guy with heat action because he has a HP bar and a half left over. And then we can just deal with Langford. Thank you, Jason. That actually helps out a lot. Him grabbing him means that, you know, we don't have to deal with him guarding or anything else. Sheep man, I appreciate it, but he's dead. We're all good, Sheep man.
I mean, he's not lacking motivation, you know?
This is why we really like Sheep man and Chicken man. They will absolutely go hard every single time. Every single time. Unlike a certain crewmate.
Yeah.
Who I replaced in this bit with Ranko. Do you replace Masaru with Ranko in these bits?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I was gonna say, by default you get Jason and Masaru, and Jason is pretty good. Masaru, as we've agreed, is useless, so we instead take him out, get Chicken Man, Sheep Man, and Ranko, who, as we've already mentioned, is just way more powerful than you would think. Even on Pro, that's the same boarding party use. On New Game Plus, the only difference is you use Kiryu instead of instead of Jason, because he's Kiryu.
Yep. Yeah, if you're wondering for the DLC stuff, this is a usual rule that we have with pretty much every Yakuza Like a Dragon thing. We don't allow DLC for any % runs because usually it's busted in some form. In Like a Dragon, the game gives you a rocket launcher, which you can delete any early game boss with. So it's a little unfair. And for like this, for example, obviously with New Game Plus for most of this stuff, you'll usually be massively overpowered in a different way that obsoletes the DLC. But for this, obviously, with the DLC crew members, you'll still have other good crew members, but obviously with Kiryu there and like some of the others, they're just the easy choice, which is nice.
Yeah,
there's also some fun. Go on.
Sorry, go. I can go after.
No, you go first. I was going to tangent away.
Okay. Yeah, I was just gonna say, my attitude to it is, for reasons, like, on an 80% run, you want things to be balanced, and you also don't want any pay-to-win component to it. But once you get to New Game Plus, you know, New Game Plus is all about seeing how fast you can beat the game when you're overpowered as possible, so including those things in a New Game Plus run just seems natural.
Yep. There's some things that you can absolutely use in this series to be very overpowered in Infinite Wealth. If you have like the Super Ultra Deluxe version, they give you crafting materials for weapons, which puts you at a massive advantage. Because again, with the turn-based games, the strength of your equipment determines your strength. So it would be very, very overpowered if we allowed them in like any %. But New Game Plus, you start off with like a full-powered character. So it doesn't matter for like New Game Plus. I was going to tangent over to Judgment's New Game Plus stuff, because that New Game Plus stuff is actually very different and actually surprisingly fun. You have a bunch of extracts, where your extracts are essentially your items that you use to get a little bit stronger. Judgment has some insta-kill extracts, including one that gives you the power of telekinesis, that you can just force lift an enemy off the ground and slam them into the ground and do like multiple HP bars worth of damage. So it makes the New Game Plus run for that so different. Especially when those extracts have like a 5 to 6 minute cooldown on them.
That sounds kind of sick, actually. I did not know about... I knew about the insta-kill. I did not know about the telekinesis extract.
It's funny. It's very, very funny. It is like Star Wars.
By the way, I don't know if you know about this, but a very weird thing they did with some recent Yakuza games, namely Gaiden, is Gaiden did not have a New Game Plus mode out of the box, but someone's actually made a mod for New Game Plus for that game, so I've been really curious to check that out, because I always felt Gaiden would have had a really good New Game Plus run if it was part of the vanilla game.
Same. It would be very fun to like go back through and like have all your gadgets at the start, or even if they didn't give you your gadgets at the start, like have them be as powerful as they can be as soon as you unlock them. Yeah, storyline-wise for this little bit, these are the Devil Flags. They're like a group of pirates. The girl who joined us, Misaki, they killed her father, stole some treasure. That's the treasure for booty %. And we got to basically take them all out. Once you take them all out as well, that enables you to fight the super boss of the game. Amon, I can't remember if you have to do all the sub-stories as well. We had that conversation earlier, but I really don't remember. I should remember, but I don't.
Oh, to fight him?
I don't think you do.
No, I think Amon is only all the Coliseum fights, but that does include doing the entirety of the Devil Flags storyline, because some Coliseum fights don't open up until you do.
The nice thing about doing this bit, or the fact that we have to do this bit, when we finish this bit, we're actually going to get something that is vital for this run. Something that stops us using as many doppelgangers as we do. Would have ran forward way earlier. Got those two. I need to go after Anella, and then we should be good to just take care of the rest. So yeah, even if you take care of the main enemy like that, they still use the ability that they have, provided one of the normal guards is left alive. So that's why we go after the normal guards first, and then obviously the leader at the end. The leaders usually have an EX move, but in a lot of these fights, we are usually able to burn through their health before they get it off, which is nice. So yeah, as I said earlier, same crew for this boarding part. This one isn't too bad, there's just a bunch of dudes in front of us. So we'll do 2 charge and shoots, that'll get rid of most of the ads, if not all of them. Oops, I need to jump onto actually quick step. What I like to do is quick step to the left there, because it like guarantees you're in range of everybody else. And then for this last guy, the action. Love the jumping. This is where we get the item that I was alluding to a second ago. You can skip the first cutscene for it this time, but don't worry, you'll get to see it in a second. Yes, Guromi knows how to play a Dark God's violin. As you're about to find out right here.
Just one of those things you learn as a Yakuza.
And you might be wondering, what does playing the violin do? Well, Big Nono, what does playing the violin do?
That's a good question, Froob. Playing the violin summons a bunch of evil sharks from hell to destroy your enemies. Which, you know, just, as you do. As you do.
So, I did something very intentional there, and Big Nono will know all about what just happened there. Very often, or sometimes very often, the sharks don't finish their food. They just play with their food a little bit, and one of the enemies there was going to survive that attack. So what we usually do as a just-in-case for that part is we hold on to a charged pistol shot, and then if somebody is going to survive like that, we deal with them. You do sometimes have to wait a little bit at the end because the sharks actually take somebody below the floor. Should be letting go of this at this point. That's fine. All right. Go after. We only got one of the main enemies here. You should be another one. Yep.
This is one of those fights where you want to look for the purple dots on your minimap just to take out all the squad leaders. Otherwise, you get the voltage ability, which, oh yeah, that was like a pixel of health away. That's very unfortunate. This is a fight where it's very, very difficult to avoid that animation happening. And it's a shame because the buff itself doesn't matter that much, but just the animation for the voltage ability takes a really long time. Yeah. Also, you can kind of tell
so far. But,
yeah.
I mean, Captain Beef. Why has Captain Beef been knocked out?
No one is doing anything. This is one of those fights where sometimes your crewmates will just not do anything, and you can just tell you're losing a lot of time, and that was just one of those times, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately, it is what it is sometimes. We just have to accept it and move on. I do blame my first mate, Captain Beef, for that one. He seems to have gone down quite early, so it's his fault.
Yeah.
He just got put out to pasture. I won't make another cow joke, I promise.
That was a good one. That was a good one. Chicken Man and Sheepman, whenever Chicken Man or Sheepman get taken out, that feels horrible, because then you know that your DPS is just going to be in the gutter.
Yep. Nice thing about the next cutscene is it's an area trigger. I went the Yakuza Guromi, right. So we actually get this one which is a bit closer. Neat. Don't have to worry about a fight spawn. If there was a fight spawn, again, this is an area trigger, so the cutscene would just get rid of any fight that we were had on us. And finally, would you believe it? We're at the end of Chapter 2.
Yeah, it only took, let me see, 5 years?
That is absolutely the longest chapter in the run by far, even considering the finale is like 2 set pieces long and a couple of boss fights.
Yeah, it's funny. You'll see a lot of Yakuza games, the chapters are kind of evenly spaced out throughout the run, so most of us will only have chapter splits because that's just something that's very easy to auto-split on. In this game, if you do that, you have one split that's about 10 minutes for chapter 1, and then like an hour and a half in, you have your second split, which, yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
That's very helpful.
I used to have that, but I wanted to know more, like, intent as to where I was actually losing my time, so I actually, like, force myself to do boss splits, and I forget to split the bosses.
Yeah, I actually came up with an auto splitter that also splits on bosses. The problem with that is that it can sometimes have false positives if you get into random fights, but then you can just cancel out of the split. It's fine. I use it. I think it's better than the alternative. And I know myself. I know I won't split manually.
I will, because I'll forget. Second I move over, I'll just forget and just, like, split for every boss. So, this is Shigaki. Now, fun fact about Shigaki. Shigaki is Majima, which you might think, no, we're Majima, which, yes, we're Majima. Shigaki is real-life Majima. Shigaki actually played Majima in the Amazon Like a Dragon TV show, which, yeah, that's no heat action. Cool. Great. Appreciate
Yeah, he was, I would say, one of the few good parts of that show.
I don't want to say it, but you are 100% right. Thank you, Dennis Chainsaw Man. Dennis Chainsaw Man guards a lot because he has a chainsaw, so he guards everything.
Yeah.
That's another one of those fights, again, as Big No No was saying, where your crewmates can really help you out. Or they don't.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And if you look at the top right of the screen, you'll see that we're about to get into an absolutely very big moment. So for this fight, for me to concentrate, I'm going to concentrate on this fight and let you take over for this one, because I did mess this up earlier, so hopefully I don't this time. Remember the beer.
Always a good point. Yeah, right here. This is actually a really funny dialogue, because you can tell Majima to go hide in the bushes and wait for Saejima to come out, which Saejima does not like. But yeah, Saejima, if you've played Yakuza games with Saejima in them, you know, this guy is just a meat mountain. He's an absolute brute. He is very, very strong, and as a result, fights against him can be very, very scary. So we are going to do a few things to mitigate that. You're going to see that Froob is going to use Chain Mastery to get behind Saejima, juggle him a bit.
Again, no, I'm not. I need him away from this barrel.
Yeah.
But
now, the next thing... Ooh, that is...
it's done this again, to be honest, yeah. Would have been much faster, yeah. Ugh.
But yeah, so you want to get Saejima into his QTE, and at this point, you do fail this QTE, because you may see our health bar is full, and it's about 4 seconds faster to fail this. By the way, Garlic Dread that I've mentioned earlier, she made all the... made all the measurements to see when it's faster to fail a QTE and stuff, so big shoutouts again to her. And here, yeah, once he does his ult, just do a heavy attack and a heat move, and that should finish him off.
He's still yelling about us going as hard as we can when he's already on the floor, like Saejima, please. Fight's already done, my dude.
I mean, fair play, that's, he's got spirit, if nothing else.
Yep. Which, you'll see his spirit later on, that's for sure. So, we're gonna head back to Goromaru, we're gonna get our second, or last 2 of 3 crewmates, I should say. 2 very old familiar friends. And make sure I actually do the crew stuff. This is why we haven't put Noah back into the boat squad yet. Boys Minami and Nishida are back. I haven't seen Minami since Yakuza 4. He's actually surprisingly good in this run. Like, he actually does help out a fair bit. And you can rest up at the top part here. You're supposed to go down to the couch that's below, but you can actually hit it from the top, which is really nice.
Yeah, this is not the I would say freakiest instance of being able to interact with furniture from unintended positions in an RPG game, but it's up there.
Yeah. Alright, so we're going to head back to Honolulu for a brief respite. We need to meet with, not this guy. We're not doing his sub-story. Nope. We need to go and see a guy called Spade Tucker. He's American, so his name is Spade Tucker.
Typical American name.
Yep.
How many Spade Tuckers do we have in chat? I bet at least 3.
It's like the typical British name of Dan Smith. Good old Spade Tucker. So
that's my
we gotta go
favorite
and
kill.
find his bodyguard first, unfortunately. Ugh. I don't know why the name makes me laugh every time, but it does.
I couldn't believe it the first time I played this game that they actually. I thought it was a joke, and it kind of is. But yeah, Kobayashi here. This fight is a bit dangerous because his guys are very spread out, so it is very random how many shots you'll need to take all of them down. That was actually very good. 2 shots.
You need to hit
great.
him once at least because he has a lot of HP. I might not kill. Hope it does. Yeah. I don't think
that
the
was a
Cinder
great
Block
fight.
has enough damage with full HP. I don't think.
No, I don't think it would have.
I don't know where I have that in my head from, but I have it in my head from somewhere, so I believe that. Oops. Right, now we need to be very, very careful in this next bit. The sub-story that you saw start, Masaru's hunt for a Minato girl. A Minato girl is a specific term for a certain party goer in Japan. That's why we're coming to Kei-san, because she knows. The real Kei-san, by the way. She knows all about this. There's Machiko. You might have seen her if you played Infinite Wealth. Do not pay her tab. How dare you? She'll take $10,000. If you don't have $10,000, she'll take all your money.
Which is really funny because in most cases like this in Yakuza games, what happens is if you don't have enough money, they just say you don't have enough money, come back when you do. Not in this one.
No, this one's just mean and even. She's like, alright, that'll do, I guess. Fair enough.
The funny thing also is on New Game Plus, you actually would be able to pay her because, you know, you have as much money as you want, but it's still slower. It's like a second slower to pay her. So you never want to pay Machiko. It's a waste, literally a waste of your time and money.
So Saki at the front because she has the ability to increase the damage of the people in the squad. He's busy. Then you just put everybody else in, you put Clark back in, etc., etc. We've got one suspiciously open crew member slot. I wonder who that could be for.
Surely no one we've seen already.
Don't treat me with a good time, Keith. Imagine if Keith could join your crew. Oh, that's a missed opportunity right there.
Imagine if you could have 6 Keiths in your crew.
I'll have my boarding crew of Keith 1, Keith 2, Keith 4, and Keith 6.
First mate Keith.
Get rid of Captain Beef and Heartbeat. The squadron leader for Keith is improves the attack power of all Keiths in the squad. Oh dear. Right, so we have to, much like Gaiden had a little bit where you have to do a couple of Colosseum fights to be able to get up to a certain rank to progress the story at a certain point. For this bit, we have to do this as well, but we have to do this right now. So we're going to do this here. That was a good first hit to get everybody up the stairs. I'm just going to get hit by everybody behind me, so I'm just going to instead just interrupt them. That's why we love good old Sheep Man and Chicken Man. I appreciate that. Everyone's pretty much gone at this point, apart from one dude over here, I believe. No? Now, I want to praise my boy Nishida, but due to the fact that he was standing there looking at the guy.
Yeah, it's
something... a little bit of a struggle.
I have a theory about the way the AI works in this game, in that if you have one regular guy left, usually what will happen is your crew will avoid hitting him to, you know, give you the last hit of the fight. Unless you have, if it's a squad leader and a regular guy, if you finish off the squad leader, they will take care of the last guy. That's what I've seen, at least.
That is definitely a thing that happens in Lost Judgment. So I would absolutely believe that. 100%. I'm kind of surprised Cannon didn't take full damage from that. Okay. Take care of most of the rest of them. We want after Gallardo, so I'm just going to strong attack through the rest of the enemy. Good job. Nice. Alright, Clark was going for it. I took that. So Jazz Clark. He was attempting. This is where you get to see which one of your crew members are actually doing stuff. And it's a lot easier to tell the Sheep Man and Chicken Man are doing stuff because their attacks are flashy and it's pretty obvious when they're doing stuff. But you can still tell when Masaru's not doing anything. So even though it drags us out, we still do have to do the second one, which unironically is the same boats as you just saw.
Yeah, this is going to be the same main boat and the same boat fights. The only difference is the two regular boats on the side, which I don't think we've mentioned, but in all boat fights, you only need to defeat the main boats, so we tend to just ignore the others. You'd think on professional you'd have to deal with the other ones, and you'd be wrong. Because we just ignore them and hope for the best, which is my favorite speedrun strat.
I need to see what Toji does for booty percent, because the actual last ship fight in the Colosseum is actually genuinely quite nasty. The one before Amon. Like, it's actually really, really nasty. The man's aiming at something. I'm glad I ran past it. He was aiming at something there. I don't know if anyone was still alive at the top. So, yeah, you do have to be very careful with some of these fights. Some of these fights are a little dangerous. And in fact, there's going to be one fight that's not what I would call dangerous in any percent on beginner that we do, but later on, it can kill me if I just take it for granted. Like, if I don't respect the fight. Which on professional, as I've heard, is a much more dangerous fight, for obvious reasons.
Yeah, professional has, I would say, 3 points in the run that are just really, really scary, and one of them is definitely that fight.
I don't think there's anyone left alive to the left. Yeah, no, it's just these guys. Yep. Shouts to Chicken Man. Yeah, it's kind of funny because in both Gaiden's Colosseum that we have to do for all sub-stories, and obviously this run, you want to use Sheep Man and Chicken Man in both. They are fantastic in both games.
Mm.
Once you've done the two, we can now meet Spade Tucker. Have to fight his bodyguards in a small room, which is just the usual. Yeah, you two are not doing anything. Appreciate it. Yeah,
Jason.
Looking at the both of them.
Masaru is rubbing off on Jason in this instance.
If you're wondering why, like, for those at home who have never played this game, if you're wondering why Masaru just went red and started throwing his arms in the air, if I wasn't holding L2, I could do a combo heat action with that crew member at that time, which obviously for an enemy that has that little HP is not worth it, and it takes a very long time. They're quite funny most of the time. They're actually, like, good damage, but yeah, for, like, how little, like, actual damage they had left, would not be worth it. I'm going to go into this cave in the hopes that everyone runs forward a little bit to try and get them together for the shot. But unfortunately, as you can see, sometimes they'll go to, like, the side here and you can't shoot them. But yeah, we start another big set piece here. I really like this set piece a lot.
Yeah. This is one of my favorites, for sure. Especially because of the final boss, which, if you've not played the game yet, definitely stick around for that. That is something special.
So, one of the cool things about the jump that we've got is it does actually have a hitbox. And this set piece, as you can see, we've got a couple of switches that we have to hit to be able to progress through, like, doors and stuff. So we do need to hit all these switches. It's a really the kind of cool way to be all like, hey, we now have a jump attack for the first time in a LAD game. And you can just, as you can see here, jump at it. And that's it. You don't have to do, like, anything fancy or anything like that. This swashbuckle section, if I can do this correctly, should go very quickly. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Easy peasy. This one's nice because everyone's, like, far away enough that you can just hit them with a strong attack from afar, and then they won't actually, like, be able to get to you.
Yeah, it's definitely... Sorry. I was just going to say that's way more consistent than... Yeah. I was just going to say that one's way more consistent than the one in Mad Atlantis.
Yes. Oops. Always punch the laser. Don't punch the laser, chat. Always punch the box instead of the laser. So you'll also notice, again, we're doing the kind of same thing, that we're running in the room to be able to trigger all the enemies and make them attackable, and then we're moving out of the room to be able to, that was almost really good, and to be able to obviously like line them up together, get them a bit more together. For this fight, for example, they're all just kind of in front of us. Like, there's like 2 enemies to the sides, which are a pain because they're the ones that have the guns and they will interrupt us. So you'll see me like just basically going after them instead. This guy's probably gonna, yeah, guard or attack me. Just gonna dodge him and make sure he doesn't hit me here. I should have changed back to Sea Dog in that time. You can see that the raw damage, as Big Nono said earlier, of like Sea Dog, much higher than Mad Dog. Much, much nicer. But for movement, again, Mad Dog is what we're after. Get that one. Been caught by that before.
Cheeky laser. Oh, that's, yeah.
Yeah,
honestly, just
hurts.
a very bad time to come in on the cycle for the laser. That is just unfortunate.
I did hear us hit both of them because Jennings guarded. I was going to use the heat action, but that actually worked out. It would not let me have my heat action again.
By the way, this is not a super long run. RTA, it's usually, kind of depends on your PC. We do have a load remover for this game. So there's no like pay to win with the load times, but it does require a pretty beefy CPU for good loads. And yeah, the run will be like 220 to 230, maybe slightly above 230 RTA. So it's not the longest run, but it does have this as a break. Because if you just ignore this QTE, it's faster actually, and you can just go off for a minute, you know, get yourself a drink, whatever else you need to do.
And we have that super cool fight you were talking about earlier coming up now, so if you want to describe it.
Yeah.
This is a cool fight. This is a very cool fight.
The thing is, I don't know if I could describe this fight. There's just a robot. For some reason, Spade Tucker from New York has a robot that fights you. I don't know, man. I don't know what to say about this. It doesn't remind me of like if you play Star Fox 64, the first boss on the easy path is like this guy. It's like a big robot with a green sort of chair on his back. That's its weak point, and you just hit that. So shoutouts to Star Fox 64.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know. This game is
It's
interesting.
great.
Yeah,
like,
it is very good.
It takes itself seriously, and it doesn't take itself seriously at all the right times. Like, it's really good for that. But yeah, the nice thing about that boss is like the gimmick is that you have to jump to hit its weak spot, and like that's what I really like about this is that when you do get gimmick fights like that, there's no other boss in this game where you have to jump. Like, it's just nice that it doesn't overstay its welcome or try to do, you know, too many things that it tries to force into other fights. It's the same with Infinite Wealth in that regards. We're also getting 2 heat actions here that are very important. Sidearm Shuffle you're going to see coming up in a second here that is a single target, extremely high amount of damage, like multiple HP bars. Rain of Blood is a multiple enemy hitting attack that's going to drag together a lot of really annoying enemies, which is going to be very useful in the next chapter. So, this is Rodriguez's dad's house. This is Rodriguez. He's like the interim leader of Palacana after the events of Infinite Wealth. And this is Sidearm Shuffle. As you will see, Rodriguez is like 4 or 5 HP bars. Yeah, they're gone. Not fully gone, but mostly gone to the point that we should be able to burn through the rest of Rodriguez's attack if we just attack and stun him so that he doesn't use like any of his normal attacks. He does not have a mid-fight invulnerability point like most fights, nor like Rodriguez to in a second. So that's the reason why we sidearm shuffle that fight, is so that we can just get through it very quickly like that.
Yeah, it's definitely... I would imagine they kind of knew how broken this heat move is, and the HP gates are one of... are supposed to prevent you from just spamming that or other attacks that do a lot of damage at once. But we still will have plenty of situations where sidearm shuffle will be very useful.
Didn't despawn this time, thank you. Nice easy start. Hit Rodriguez with the barrel heat action straight to phase 2. Again, very long QTE here. Probably the longest one in the run, question mark? Definitely up there.
Yeah. I think there's one that you can avoid that. There's one point in the run where you need to succeed a QTE, but if you fail it, it's really long. But yeah, other than that, pretty much the longest.
Yep. So once again, respect Rodriguez. Just respect any EX that comes your way. We're going to get him down to about half. I let it go a little bit longer. Thank you for pushing me towards a barrel. That's unfortunate for you, Rodriguez. Oh, hello. Here's you. Rodriguez, end of the fight. Thank you. No more EXs from you. Thank you. Yeah, you essentially want to get him to half HP. You obviously drunk your beer at the start of the second phase so you can regen your heat a bit better. You do need to chug a Tarano because you won't have enough. And then, obviously, the heat action should just take him out. So, not too bad. And that's Chapter 3, as you can tell, a lot quicker than Chapter 2. Now, Chapter 4 will also be a little bit longer, but also... Oh, whoa, who's that guy? Oh, whoa. So, yeah, Saejima, he's finally decided to join our crew. Saejima, much like Misaki, has the added benefit of giving the people in his squad extra damage up. So he will become one of our squad leaders. So, surprise, the final slot wasn't for Saejima, it was actually for the guy that he replaces. Which is, unironically, Jason. Jason. And Jason goes here. I've lost Jason. Wait.
Yeah, we still want...
Oh, there he is. How did I lose him? I lost him. Should be wearing my glasses.
We still want Jason around because he's just a good squad mate. But while Jason increases attack for all squad mates, Saejima greatly increases. Like his buff is bigger, so it's just better to put him in that position.
Yeah, he is absurd. And because he's obviously the leader of the squad, he will still come with us when we do squad stuff, which is the important stuff. He'll also be coming with us for important story stuff, as you will see. Despite the fact that we just got the fast travel, several points in the story force us to go to certain places, and they don't tell us about it. This is one of them. There's a fight up ahead that we have to do, so the fast travel for this bit is actually disabled, so we have to run up here. And thankfully, the trigger is right here, even if there is a bad fight spawn right there. This fight can be a little bit awkward if these guys run away. Hopefully they don't. Ah, Pelike, much like your namesake later on in the run. No, Pelike. You stop that. You really are taking after the Pelike that's later on in the run.
God, that guy haunts my nightmares.
Just the worst enemy in this game by far. So, we have to go back to the Goromaru. I don't know if we've actually mentioned it yet. The reason why we go this way isn't just for the fast travel that's here. On this walkway, you cannot get an enemy spawn. So you are always guaranteed to not have a fight along here. So that's why we will always take this part. Good, no fight spawn here. You'll usually, and it will probably happen in this chapter, get a fight spawn on one of the many times we run back to the good old Goromaru. This is the Mortimer contention fight, correct? Yes, and then it's back to
contention qualifier, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. So, we haven't really mentioned the bad guys of the video game yet. You've got the two people that rule Madlantis, which is Queen Michelle, voiced by Romy Park, who was a voice in Yakuza 5. You've got King Raymond, Raymond Law, who is actually played by and voiced by in the English dub Samoa Joe. So we are technically going up for apparently the AEW Championship, as I was told earlier. Something wrestling. I don't watch wrestling. So we have to do this fight again, kind of like the two previous fights. We have to do this fight to be able to progress the story. Kind of a bit wide out here. I don't like my angle here, to be honest.
Yeah, so...
Spin around. Yeah, that's bad. Out of my way, you.
Oh, no.
I will ram you.
That is really bad when you get stuck in the middle like that. But yeah, you probably saw that the earlier Coliseum fights, we kind of liquefied enemy vessels instantly with the laser. These guys are a bit more tanky, so it takes more effort. Now, actually, this fight right here, that's another reason why I routed the health upgrades into this. These guys are nasty.
If you can't see, practically every single one of them has guns.
Yeah. And yeah, unprofessional, this is one of the biggest run killers in the game.
I can imagine. Like, again, remember that we have the guy ring on, so everyone's like even a little more aggressive even on beginner, and like on professional, like you're gonna get demolished. Like, but that's one of the nice things is like with a lot of the like runs that we have for Yakuza and like a Dragon, a lot of the higher difficulty runs have like similar-ish strats. Again, boy Minami. But you will have to mix them up a little bit. Like, with the likes of, like, Yakuza 0, where you have Golden Fist that gets your attack up high enough for Legend, you don't always necessarily want to just be in Beast, for example. And in K2, we can just chug Muscle Soda, but you need to be a little bit careful of other extenuating circumstances. So it's really nice when, like, higher difficulty, like, actual runs are quite different, which is obviously the ones mentioned above and also a couple of the other ones. The PS3 era games, because a lot of people ask us, do you get the Tiger Drop? And it's very rare we do get the Tiger Drop, mostly because for most games it's like either out of our way or very expensive. But for the PS3 era Yakuza games, especially like Yakuza 3 on Legend, yeah, you want to get the Tiger Drop. You do not want to do that run without the Tiger Drop.
Yeah. And especially... It often disappoints people that even on New Game Plus, you don't really get to use the Tiger Drop too much. Because the thing is, the Tiger Drop relies on enemies being aggro, and that is just not going to be the case a lot of the time on easier difficulties. However, a bunch of the games have really cool strats involving the Tiger Drop. Like Kiwami New Game Plus has some cool Tiger Drop strats. I believe Judgment Legend also gets the Tiger Drop, because that one's just very quick to get.
Yeah, I routed that in. The downside to Judgment Legend's Tiger Drop is it costs 3000 SP, and that game does not give you a lot of SP. But the nice thing about the Tiger Drop is, especially like in Judgment Legend, you can Tiger Drop mid-combo. So you can interrupt like a nasty boss that's gonna kill you if they've caught you in their combo, and then you can obviously get yourself alive and like save yourself with that. I don't remember to get the rocket launcher there. So yeah, it is cool. Again, it all depends on which of the runs that we do. But yeah, Tiger Drop is mostly not an exclusive thing. It just depends on the actual run itself. For most any percents, we don't get it. I sometimes get it in Judgment or sub-stories as well for Amon, just in case, but usually not necessary in that one, because we have the overpowered extracts. I'm a little bored. I'm kind of missing certain characters. Like,
yeah, a lot of these bosses just aren't it.
Like,
they don't really have star power, I feel. We need someone
with charisma.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Keith!
Oh, Keith! Hell yeah.
I missed this guy. Please change styles. Please shoot the gun. Go on me. Love you. Thank you. Oh, jeez. So, yeah, again, God, Keith is back for the 5th time at this point, for those keeping track at home. Ideally, I'm going to hit Keith with this drum as well, but I would like to hit these guys as well. But I want to make sure I hit him twice. Keith. Phase 2, please. Goodbye. Do with the last guy. Yeah, that's why I wanted to hit this guy as well with the barrel. Like, hopefully he got close enough. But unfortunately, no. He just decided to stay in the middle of the room for the entire time.
Yeah, honestly, this is just a very nasty fight. I love the set piece. I think it's a really good part of the run, but it is really scary. Like this set piece kills runs.
Yeah. So what RNG love to do is they do love to make their cities into like a mini set piece. This fight right here, you'll see the benefits of the Gaia Ring. See how they shot quickly? That's the Gaia Ring's influence. The Gaia Ring will make them attack really fast, or in this case, run at us. I'd let go of my shot there really quickly in an attempt to stop them from doing their EX attacks. And then for this guy...
Yeah, which is very important, because those attacks suck. They keep interrupting your shots. That was actually very well played, I think.
I'm a little sad about the guy on the left, unfortunately. For this fight, sharks. Space sharks. So, we didn't actually explain. The level up that we got at the start of Honolulu here is Pistol Madness. Pistol Madness basically means that we get a bit more madness gauge, I believe, back from using our pistol attacks.
Yeah. Anytime you hit at least 3 enemies.
should hit that.
which is very nice. Pistol Menace is actually kind of a late route addition, and it's also in the route because we get a lot more points now, so you can actually get the level 4 upgrades. Yeah, made a lot of late game fights much easier, including the Pelike fight that we've already complained about several times, and will again. By the way, I don't know. I feel like we need another good character here, like Keith. Oh, okay.
I'm so glad. He was just relaxing at the pool the entire time. That's not the guy I want to hook shot. Thank you. We want to hit Urima with the sidearm shuffle, ideally.
Yeah, because Urima doesn't... Keith has an HP gauge, Urima doesn't, so you can just get the entirety of the damage on him.
Dog 2 beers. Ideally, you want Keith, like, close to us here. I don't know why I changed styles there. That was silly. We do that after this, because with Keith next to this wall, we can do a specific wall-based heat action. Look at that damage, by the way. I don't think he's close
By the
enough.
way, you can see...
I just missed. I'm not risking this, not against you.
Yeah. You can see just how much damage he does. That's wild. Every swing does like a quarter of your HP. It's... yeah.
Come here, bud. My heat action. But
this is a really finicky hit move. Like, it just doesn't let you do it if you're not at exactly the right spot.
I want to say it's like if you're near the corner, like I was. I think if you're like closer to either side of those walls, you're fine. But I think it's the corner for some reason.
Yeah. And the unfortunate thing is that you don't pick where he is going to be, so you just have to play around that. So right here, you're also going to see Froob for the first time use that rocket launcher we just bought, which is the meteor launcher. Does a really nice amount of damage. It's quite meaty. Also, again, I feel like we need someone a bit more charismatic in this fight. Can we see someone that we haven't seen in a really long time? Keith, no, this is Jack this time. You don't get it. Jack 7, unfortunately.
He doesn't get a cool intro this time around, though. You do get to see this cool heat action. This is very specifically Rain of Blood. I don't think that caught Keith in it.
Not Keith, because he's not in this fight, but sadly it also
sorry, Jack, yeah.
No, it's fine, I was just...
That is not ideal.
That is not good at all.
A little earlier. I need to basically ideally hit, like, one of the main enemies. That didn't... I don't have my heat, that's why. That's interesting. How am I not gaining enough from that? So, yeah, usually this heat action will get... Good old Jack. But as you can see at the bottom, it also gets Porter. It basically drags the big HP barred enemies together, which is really good, because then hopefully we can take care of them before, obviously, they get off their ability. Jack should be hopefully ready to go down, I hope. He's just standing there menacingly. That's fine by me. I'm okay with that. Sir? Sir, I'm fairly certain those swords went through you. Fair enough. So all of this was to get this cannon, this flame cannon right there that's supposed to be like, you know, the best weapon that you can use against Mortimer and his ship. No. We have super lasers.
It sucks. It's really bad.
It's a status, like, debuffing kind of thing, where you can set a ship on fire and it'll take, like, dot damage. And there's poison as well, but it's like, you have a super laser.
Yeah, it's, I'm giving myself... I'm reminding myself of very difficult, very harsh things, but if you're trying to S-rank the Coliseum fights on professional... yeah. The flame cannon or the poison cannons you get can sometimes be pretty good because they, you know, do damage over time. But yeah, for a speedrun, it's not really useful.
Oh, those some of the Coliseum later ones to S rank on professional is genuinely terrifying.
Yeah, absolutely nasty.
Hey, Froob, would you mind if I jump in for a moment here?
Oh yeah, go for it. Yeah.
All right. Just first off, I want to say hello to anyone who's watching on Speedrun.com. This is Fast Paced for Pride 2025, raising money for Gate. Be sure to visit us at twitch.tv/fastpacedevents to get involved with the chat and donate to our bid wars and incentives, like the one that got us this beautiful Goromi costume right here. We love it. We thank you all so much for making that happen here. And just to really recap some of the things that we have coming up, we still have that Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon Little ZI mirror match that will be open until the end of the Armored Core 6 run, but we'd love to hit that a little bit sooner. We've also got the Leon versus Claire RE2 bid war. Leon's in the lead right now with $10, so get those donations in as soon as possible so we can get that settled.
Yeah, 2 very good runs coming up very soon. Alright, so we have a little bit of kind of weird downtime here. We met with Raymond, and Raymond was all like, "You sure your crew is fully loyal to you?" Hinting that one of our crew is gonna turn traitor, and no money for guessing who that's gonna be.
Keith?
Unfortunately, no, he's not with us. It's a shame. Unfortunately, we're not gonna see Keith again for the rest of the run, which is the biggest shame.
That is unfortunate. I've lost interest in this game now.
So we speak to Jason, and we get the lowdown on what happened with their crew before, and them going after the treasure of the Esperanza, which is like the big treasure that they've been looking for when they were pirates. Never found it, and supposedly, you know, they gave up. But now that we're in the picture, they've gone back to obviously trying to find it. We're helping them out whilst we're trying to get our memory back. We need to go to the gaming hall here, where you get to see the golf center and some clowns in a cage. I don't know why they're here, but they're just having a great time.
It's where they belong.
Yup, they're having just a great time. So yeah, unsurprisingly, Masaru is the traitor. And in the amount of time it's going to take us to do this fight is the amount of time the storyline is going to take to resolve when he rejoins our crew. So the nice thing is, this fight gives us a very easy wieldable weapon right behind us. It gives us 2 barrels. So grab barrel, use barrel. Thanks, Masaru. Should have done that strong attack first. Oh, dumb strong should be fine. Or not, because he dodged. Thanks, Masaru. He's gonna go do that. I'm gonna go grab barrel. I'm gonna go walk up to him, chug 2 Harana pluses, and die. Almost. Should have done 1 attack. With that, he shouldn't EX again, but he will guard a bunch. Yeah, I should have done strong attacks for each of my heat actions there, and that would have pace transitioned a lot quicker and ended the fight a lot quicker, unfortunately. It is what it is. So yeah, we go back to the bar dunghill. If you're wondering, yes, that does say dunghill. Do not adjust your set. That is correct. We have Spade Tucker and we have dunghill.
I'm American. My name is Spade Tucker, and I love drinking beer at Dunghill.
Now we get the actual fight, which we don't actually need to put, we don't need to put Masaru back into, yes, we do actually need to put him back in the crew. Oops. I'll do it after. As long as I make sure I do it after for hopefully 2 cycle squid. But yeah, I'll make this fight a little bit slower, but it's not too bad, because again, we do need to basically hit them with both lasers. So yeah, this is the highest, like, HP fight we've had so far, which is kind of nice. Sir, please go. Thank you. You're right away.
But you can really see how important it is to have crewmates at all cannon slots, because like if we didn't have ones on the cannons themselves, then we would only have 3 lasers instead of 4, and that really decreases your DPS. For the turrets, it doesn't matter that much. It is better to have Masaru here, but you know, it's not a big deal either way.
And for this fight, we have Apple Madness Gauge again, so sharks. There's a lot of enemies. The sharks do travel, which is nice.
Yeah. This is, I would say, the hardest fight in the game to avoid getting the velocity, not velocity, the special ability for the other team to go off. Although it's looking like maybe...
Oh, Saejima, I love you.
Oh, beautiful.
I didn't actually finish him off. That was Saejima. I kind of left him alive.
That is very, very difficult to do, so very nice.
And we have the actual Mortimer boss fight. We're going to start with the final swashbuckle of the one. And if we can do this in a specific manner, it should go the same way every single time. Should. So, ideally, we want strong into counter. Into strong. Into counter. Into strong. Lovely jubbly.
Nice.
Very nice. The Mortimer fight itself is nice and simple. The star of the show is indeed sidearm shuffle.
Yeah, we talked about how sidearm shuffle is especially good when an enemy doesn't have an HP gate. Mortimer does. This is his first HP gate. But the thing is, he has so much HP that even with the HP gate, you still get the full benefit, or almost the full benefit, of the damage from sidearm shuffle, and from a second sidearm shuffle as well, which is really nice.
Yep. And the nice thing is, if you can get the timing right, then you can stop his EX straight away, and then hopefully just take him out before he gets a chance to use it when he gets up. Nice. A little bit of a counter there, but that's fine.
Yeah, good.
Okay,
good fight.
note to self. Masaru. Put Masaru on the cannon now. Because we need him. We need him there for a little strat we're going to attempt to do. I've been failing this a lot lately, so I am going to concentrate on this one. So. Oh, when do I get a chance to do it? Because you can't change your crew in your menu when you're on the ship.
No, but you're going to get the this.
Oh, Mad Atlantis.
The travel.
No,
menu.
not Mad Atlantis. Yeah. I'm in Nelly Island as well. Yeah, you're right.
Well, right here you can put him in.
Yeah. Got us out.
But yeah, this is
Cool.
This is just an aspect of menu optimization. You don't want to go into your menu specifically to put in a crewmate. So if you can make these changes when you're supposed to fast travel anyway, it saves that time.
Yeah, with Masaru, he just leaves us at like a really awkward spot, unfortunately. With Spade Tucker, he confirms that the treasure of the Esperanza is on Nelly Island somewhere. So we've kind of got a little bit of hostility between the Palicana warriors who think this is their rightful land, and then obviously just the Yakuza who were sent here to clear up the after events of Infinite Wealth. But they're now also sniffing around for, hey, treasure, cool. So we got a little bit of a standoff and a little bit of a allyship right now. But unfortunately, we've got something a little worse to deal with. Let me see if I can concentrate and get this.
An allyship. Oh, you. Okay. Well, it'll be pretty bad if a giant squid interrupts all this, though. Oh, no. So, the way we deal with the giant squid is the mechanics of this are that you need to take out the tentacles, both tentacles on the squid, and then you can attack the body. Luckily, the rocket launcher we got does just enough damage on this difficulty to take out each of the tentacles. Now, the problem here is after a while, the squid will lock its HP and will run away, and you'll get another cycle. So to get 2 cycles squid, we need to do enough damage right here, and then, ooh, that's nasty. That
my turn was bad.
Do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you need to do enough damage here, and then enough on this cycle right here, and then you can get 2 cycles squid. Now, this is a very difficult strat because your movement needs to be very, very precise. You need to do enough damage with your turrets, but you also need to turn fast enough so that you have enough time to get the TPS out of your other turret. This might still be okay. I'm not entirely sure. Let's see. With a good turn here...
We need a... Nah,
Yeah,
my turns have been bad against the squid. We probably would have needed a rocket launcher hit as well, but yeah, my turns are bad. I rammed right into the back of the squid.
Yeah. That's unfortunate, but yeah, this is just a very difficult strat to pull off. So if you get a 3rd cycle here, it's not the worst thing in the world. But if you're going for record for top times, then it is very bad. It is a very unfortunate time loss.
Yeah, I believe a 2-cycle squid saves you about a minute 15 to a minute 30. It's a lot of time.
Oh,
it's a heck of a lot of time.
It's like 30-40 seconds. So it's hefty. It's not quite that.
Provided you don't mess up that next round, because you can let the squid go down again if you mess that up.
Yeah.
So hopefully not. All right.
Now, 2-cycle squid is also obviously in New Game Plus, and easier to do in New Game Plus. I don't think there's a viable way to get 2-cycle squid in Professional.
It's just got way too much HP.
Yeah,
it's
way too
kind of
tanky.
ridiculous. Okay, so much like most recent LED games, we can start the finale immediately. Run up to Saejima and just get to our point and no return. This is a relatively long finale, which is actually kind of cool. We've got like a very cool selection of fights coming up. Beginning with the Queen Michelle's fleet. We've got to deal with Queen Michelle. And Queen Michelle's fleet is obviously boats. This is a genuinely potentially scary part in any percent, even on beginner. If we do this incorrectly, we can actually die here. So I'm just going to be a little bit careful here. Hopefully hit one of these guys with the laser.
And on professional, by the way, this is like so scary. It's a really, really nasty fight, especially the boat after this. But yeah, pretty much just get rid of these guys with your cannons and yeah, ram into them as well. That does good damage. I don't know if we've mentioned this, but Captain Beef being your first mate actually makes ramming boats do more damage. So that's one of the reasons that. So yeah, all that's left is to take care of the main ship here. You want to watch out and not take too much damage. We do have some healing, but the healing, unfortunately, also you can't use your cannons when you're healing. So it's a bit of a hit, but you know, better than dying, because if you die here, you have to do this entire fight again. Back to like the small boats before this. So yeah, this boat has several attacks. It has its rockets, you see right here. It also has a flamethrower, and if the flamethrower hits you on professional, you are just toast immediately.
Yeah. What do you utilize for damage mitigation on professional? There's a thing you can do, isn't there? Is it the smoke screen, or is it the other thing?
Yeah, so in general, if you go into deck mode and use a smoke screen, it's really, it mitigates damage a lot, like it gives you a lot of defense. On professional as well, just you have to avoid the flamethrower, so there's a very specific attack pattern I've found that is consistent, but you need to really pay attention, and you can still die if you get unlucky, so yeah, professional ones of this game are scary.
Yes. So, the nice thing is, before this set piece started, I was able to get my beer off, so that we can get, like, obviously, the heat generation, but more importantly, that madness and a little bit of attack up. But this fight, again, most of our enemies that you want to take care of are going to be on the left. One of them ran to the right, so... Again, respect to the axes. I dodged too early.
Yeah, some of the ults here are just very difficult to read. It's also one of those things... Because there's so many enemies in the fight, it's like not clear when they're targeting you or someone else, and they might hit you as like a side effect of trying to attack someone else.
E-bear! Hey, tiger! So one of the nice things, or not nice things, one of the things I've mentioned about the ship sections, when you're in these bits, you cannot menu. So we can't go into our menu to heal, we can't go into our menu to like get attacks or anything like that. So be exceedingly careful if you're on low HP for any of this. Yes.
And that's also why it's important to chug your beer before you enter this, because you can't do it during the actual boat fight or deck battle.
Do I have my full madness? I feel like I don't. Gotta find out. Yeah, I do. Good.
Yeah.
I thought I was quite low, actually, so I'm kind of surprised. So, shots of these guys. The main enemy here, Garrett, I believe it is, he has a specific set of EX moves that are very similar to a very nasty enemy in Judgment, who goes by the name of Koga with his double... No, it's Brian. It's this guy. he's doing the Koga moveset right now. Yeah, he is the scary one. He is the very scary one. If you leave him alive...
Is that Kane Man?
No, that's the guy with the dual guns.
Oh, yeah. Oof.
Yeah. So he has the exact same moveset. So if you leave him alive again with the dual guns, even though this game doesn't have the mortal wound system, he will mess you up. Like, any difficulty. Like, that guy genuinely puts fear in me. Oh, hey, it's the IRL Magimur again. So, yeah, all that tempers are flaring. Shigaki does a really dumb thing. And now we're gonna fight him. Cannot be stated how Shigaki is in this, but...
Yeah.
Thank you to the guy who shot me. Thank you to Saijima for helping me out with this.
Shigeki also does even on easy, a good amount of damage. And the thing is, what mitigates how much damage you take during this run a lot is that you get healed between chapters. But this finale is so long that by the time we get into some of the later fights, your health is low enough that you can legitimately die. So that's something you always need to watch out for.
I was mashing X to fail the QC, forgetting that this one is actually X. Oops. See, it doesn't actually do any damage. It only gets my heat back, and I don't really need heat in this fight. I need to just aim to the right. Is he? I see that. Hey. Okay, that didn't count, apparently. Ideally, I wanted to counter that EX. That's what I was paying attention to. Also, again, you can see how quickly like the enemy is shooting us. Again, that's the Gaia ring. We do have to be very, very careful because of that. Like, in this fight, usually if you get lucky, Shiigaki will actually just, for some reason, decide he wants to fight Saejima. Which, sure? You do you, bud. And then he just, like, EXs them, and we'll just deal with the rest of the ads. Like, you can see that Shiigaki went down there, even without me focusing on him, because Saejima just demolished him.
Hey, Froob, do we have time for a real quick donation?
Yeah, go for it.
Very important one, too. We have $5 from Spade Tucker's cousin with the message, "Hey, has anyone seen Spade? He missed Thanksgiving dinner and Grandma's very concerned." Don't know if we know where Spade is right now, but thank you so much for that donation.
He's having the time of his life. He's going to bring back some real god. I missed the other guy. That sucks. So, for this guy, we want to make sure we do enough damage to him that a heat action will finish him off, which that's more than enough at this point. So, essentially, story is, we kind of traded ourselves over so that Naomi Rich, who is Jason Rich's daughter, would be okay, and then we were taken down to the bottom of Atlantis, at which point Saejima and Naomi here actually helped us out. And now we get one of the absolutely amazing remixes of the main Majima theme, Receive You. Can't say what it's called on stream, because it's,
Yep.
yeah! I don't know why they called it that, but they did.
I will say, I don't think we've touched on this, but absolutely banger soundtrack in this game.
Yes.
This is one of the best soundtracks they've done, and that says a lot, because the average Yakuza soundtrack is amazing. So yeah, this is a top tier one to me.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, the thing about these doors is we can't go through these doors. We actually have to wait for Saejima to break the door, so we're intentionally hitting the door and then, like, obviously having him run forward. Not too bad. You can hit it with any object and he'll run forward. I have had him get stuck by, like, shooting it with the gun in the past, so I will usually just hit it with the jump of Mad Dog. The Dragon Engine is a wonderful thing.
It is something.
So I'm taking this iron pipe specifically for a man called Bones. There he is. I'm not sure what you do in this room anymore, but I don't trust Bones. Like, yeah. Already lost it.
Yeah, so usually what I do here is I still use the pipe heat move. I bring the pipe in from earlier, and then you just... That usually gets you enough madness to do sharks after the QT. And the thing is, because everyone from the QT is still going to be there after, you might as well do the heat move, get the QT, and then shark everyone, and get, you know, the maximum advantage out of it.
I'm gonna chug my 2 beers now that I remember. Now, sometimes, unfortunately, you can get an enemy that walks out to the middle of the corridor. I saw it at the pre-cutscene, but thankfully he seems to have come back in, which is nice. So always keeping an eye on that. And then we're ideally going to build up our madness gauge again before we get to a specific fight, because it is very annoying. Jump up and down these stairs, which is good. Left, yep. Again, any kind of movement we just want to do in Mad Dog. So this fight's a little frustrating because sometimes you'll just have an enemy survive the charge and shoot. It is unfortunately what it is. Yeah, usually to the left. Like, this guy, absolutely, because he was, like, to the left of the pillar. But green, I'm a little upset that he didn't go down there. I think I needed to aim a little bit more to the left, and that should have taken him out, but oh well. It usually is a very quick cleanup afterwards. And then when we speak to Naomi, this is the final point of no return. Nothing left to do but win. We couldn't leave here anyway, so we are in, like, the actual point of no return, but yeah. Nothing left to do but win. Good shot here, yep.
Yeah,
So, you can see I'm using a bunch of gunshots to try and build this back up. Yeah, go on, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, people sometimes ask how much RNG is in these games, and that's actually one of the biggest aspects of it, just how much enemies group up for you to, you know, attack them all at once is actually a huge deal in Yakuza runs. Ooh.
I think I would hit him with that a lot.
Yeah,
I should have seen that coming. Yeah, Cameron.
Yeah. This is our final set piece is really nasty. Like, all the bosses here are very aggressive.
Yeah, this corridor, to be honest. I'd love these three doing nothing out here.
Just hanging out with the gun guy.
There's something about how the AI operates in between the corridor and this room, because no one's doing anything. Even them. You're gonna EX. No? Wow.
Now he is. Damn.
I thought my game crashed.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what... So, the thing is, if an enemy's ulting, you can't finish them off until you counter or until the ult animation ends. But your crewmates can once you start the ult. So sometimes you'll initiate the ult, but one of your enemies will actually finish off the guy, so it gets a bit confusing.
Why am not getting hit by this guy? Get it in time, am I? Fine. I don't know how I landed on the floor there. Sure. This is where fights become a little bit clustery.
Yeah. Just more Dragon Engine goodness.
Thanks, Masara. And then this is the annoying room. Oh, boy. That fast gunshot is Pelike. Ow.
Pelike is awful. All my hoes ate Pelike.
Rude, Pelike. Yep.
The problem, by the way, with Rain of Blood is that you need to hit at least 5 enemies with the shot in order to get these moves, so if you can, it's just...
Bit late for this. Should have waited till later, to be honest. I'm just a little mad at Pelike, that's all, you know? Understandable, hopefully. Thank you, Cycle. EX, yep. Once again, thank you, Masara, for taking the EX in the face. Because that could have been bad if that hit me. It's very stressful when you get to this end. Very stressful. I remember, this is on beginner. Like, professional, this is very scary.
Yeah.
Especially Pelike.
Yeah. And unprofessional, the final boss can two-shot you if you...
Yep.
Like, just destroy you with one combo if you're not careful.
I want it.
Hey, Froob, do we have a quick moment to do an update on Nintendo?
Yeah, go for it.
Awesome. So we are at $15 out of $300 for the Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon Little Z Mirror Match. That will be open until the end of the AC6 run. And just so you guys understand what we're going to be raising money for here, this is the worst Armored Core in the game, and it's going to be a mirror match, and it's going to be an awfully fun time. I'm sorry, I misread that. It's going to be an awfully fun time. This should be really great, so get those donations in now through the end of Armored Core 6 for that mirror match. It's going to be a fun time, trust me.
Right. Last normal room of the game with some real annoying enemies.
Yeah,
you also can't you also can't start with like a full charge shot because things just go weird in this room at the start. You can't start with the madness stuff. You can't start with a charge shot. The game just cancels them all out.
Yeah, there's a few rooms like this in the game. I'm not really sure what that expects. But yeah, you have to account for that in your strats.
That guy's EX is based off the first guy from Lost Judgment, actually. The guy in the alleyway after the 7-minute long tailing segment, whose name is escaping me right now, and I should really remember, because I make a joke about that guy every time I do this run.
Replay Lost Judgment something. I don't think I've ever done a regular Legend playthrough. I only did New Game Plus Legend for the Boxer style, which is really fun.
It's good fun. Yeah, it's good fun without the mortal wounds from Judgment 1. I love that system, but it is genuinely terrifying. Hey, Samoa Joe. You finally get to see Samoa Joe, and this is our final boss fight. This guy has like 3 faces. Like 12 HP bars or something like that. It's a lot.
It is a lot. This is quite the boss fight. Very cool. Like I like.
Ouch. And damage as well.
I like all the music and the arena changes, but yeah, in a speedrun, pretty slow.
Oh, enough damage. Maybe a bit too much, but we'll see. So we're basically doing enough combos on Raymond to get him to a certain HP threshold that we use sidearm shuffle, and then he goes into his next phase when he stands up, which that should be enough. I'd be surprised if it isn't. Yeah. We're going to be healing our heat at the start of this phase. He will always guaranteed use a heat action at the start of phase 2. So we are going to counter that with one of our own, which unironically is not going to be sidearm shuffle. This was a weapon that you may have seen in this room earlier when we were in this room fighting the 5 dudes. This pipe. So I'm going to use Turners. There we go. Gonna move back a little bit because remember there's a little bit of a delay before you can use a heat move, especially like after like a phase transition or you've used a different heat move. I'm gonna be very careful here because I think he's gonna do something like that. So Raymond's attacks can actually hit behind him, which is the scary part. For this phase, we don't want to actually... See that? That's... Yeah. You don't want to actually use sidearm shuffle for this phase. This is X with heat even, not triangle. It's a different one. I want to do that to get my heat back up, and then essentially we're going to be doing the same here. We can do, like, a sidearm shuffle into a combo, but that almost pretty much guarantees he's going to do an EX attack. So we're going to start with a combo because we can easily do a quick chain readiness behind the guy for phase 3. Especially at the start. So time will be when his final HP bar disappears here. It might be pretty quick. Oh, he blocked me. Yep, that's what I was worried about. Yep. Yep, this is what I'm worried about. Like, he gets incredibly aggressive in this phase. I'm just going to reset him with this. We'll deal with what happens. I'm going to have to heal again. I'm glad I picked up that toughness CZ now. Used to you, buddy. I'd probably go sidearm shuffle there, actually. I'd probably would end the fight. So, final HP bar hit. Well, I was going to say and, but nope. And time.
And nice.
I had to be a little bit careful at the end there. Raymond decided to be a little bit more aggressive than I was expecting him to be, but GG nonetheless. Not bad. Not bad.
Good stuff.
GG's, yes.
Very, very fun run. Exceedingly fun run, actually. It's always a good time to do Pirate Yakuza. Yeah, I guess that's all from me. Once again, thank you to Big Nono for doing co-coms for this. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it was a great time. I love this game. Love doing some commentary with Froob. And, you know, love being part of a marathon that is, you know, raising money for a very good and important cause in these times.
Yeah, I think that's it from us. As we said earlier, if you ever want to learn a Yakuza pirate, yep, sure, like a Dragon or a Yakuza game, feel free to join the Discord. We have so many people that would like to help you out with any of the runs. Like, if you want some like information on, you know, hey, I want to do a run of these, but I don't know which game to start with. Like, usually we will say it's your favorite, unless it's 5, because that's too long. But we will still have a lot of people for whatever game to help you out with whichever one you want to learn, etc., and like get you all the resources needed to set up.